Hail, you dumpster divers! Welcome to Movie Garbage. That's my 2000s voice. How does it sound? Yes, I am your humble host, Mr. Edward Bobinchek, joined by the man himself, which is the thing I always call you, Matt Lewis.
Hey, it's me again. I was gonna do a bit, but let's take this more somber and serious for a day. I was on a random Reddit thread about millennials and movies from our youth, and someone posted about, I think it was specifically the board was about old TV shows or forgotten TV shows, and the thread was about the Tom Green Show. And I was like, oh hell yeah, let me fucking go through this. And everyone's like, oh yeah, Tom Green Show, I love that when I was a kid. I can't believe that was on for that long. And then one of the posts I read really stuck out to me when I read it. And it's just like,
you read it?
Yeah, I read it on Reddit. Let's see, it says, I was a homeless teenager weed dealer when this aired. And on multiple occasions, I would be out hustling. And someone would say, Tom Green is on in 30 minutes. And a herd of us teen hooligans would run full speed to the nearest motel, frantically rent a room, and plop down in front of the TV like kids on Saturday morning. It was one of the fondest memories from one of the worst times of my life. And he says, R.I.P. to some of his friends. He can't believe he's made it this far, 25 years later. Tom Green is a national treasure, even though he's not from, our nation. He's Canadian.
He's American.
He's American at heart.
Well, no, he's American.
Canada is American, yeah.
Canada is America.
He's American. He is American as hell.
This is not the United States.
He's not the USA, but he is absolutely incredible. Changed so many millennials' lives back then, even if they don't know it. And that's why I, when Ed posted this show to me, I was like, oh my god, memory unlocked. Fucking a fantastically amazing thing that I have not experienced for 24 years. And I'm fucking hype as shit to watch it again. And I'm glad to say that it absolutely held up, just like you said.
It really did. Because after the Transformers, we needed something. We needed a light. And we needed some kind of all-knowing spark.
All-knowing spark.
I don't know how to say all-spark.
The Matrix of Leadership, a.k.a. Tom Green.
That's right. Because we are, of course, if you already know, because I'm sure the title says the name of it, but I guess we'll throw it out there in case somehow you didn't. You just clicked on a random video without reading the title.
Psycho, of course.
It's Roadtrip.
Roadtrip.
A 2000s film that is honestly not given the hype it deserves.
Yeah, I think it might be one of the earliest of the raunchy comedy genre, because 2000 feels like exactly when that started to me.
Yeah, I think American Pie was 98 or 99.
Probably, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
But and obviously it gets talked about the most, but I actually didn't see this film until a few months ago for the first time.
Yeah, I was gonna say and I told Ed and his beautiful wife Leanne that I had watched this 1,000 times when I was way too young to be watching it, and every scene of this movie was literally burned into my memory. I practically did not need to take notes because I knew every single scene and every single line, even though I did just
honestly
so good.
So I've only watched it twice now. I watched it when we first watched it, and then I watched it again just last night to take some notes and as a refresher, and it genuinely holds up as a film, and it's not just that it holds up, but it kind of is a hell of progressive.
Yeah, it is shockingly progressive.
It is a film that does not feel like it was made in 2000.
No,
sometimes
not at all.
There are times where the 2000s.
There's a little bit. There's one or two off-color things that aren't great, but for the most part, it is really surprising how it steps out and actually puts an effort in to be actually good.
Right.
and timeline wise,
and even the problematic moments are sandwiched in there, but there's great, for the most part, great characters around them. A good bit
for just a regular ass comedy, which is upsetting because the genre is so just modern times. There's not too many comedy movies being released in theaters as much because that TV's pretty much ate all of movies' lunch these days, and there's anything you want that would have been a high budget movie in the past now you can get for a high budget TV show. And comedies, you can get a million amazingly funny comedy shows by probably a lot of the writers from stuff like this doing stuff now even. But it's just a different format, and
I actually watched. There's a YouTuber, I think Gabby Bell, and actually it was talking about why are comedies not existing or not great nowadays, and one of the films she referenced was Superbad.
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of one of those, which Honestly, this film, in my opinion, holds up better to modern day than Superbad does.
Yeah, I was gonna say Superbad even was like 2007 or something like that.
Yeah,
that's like years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues in that film that I feel like that film in a way could not exist or be made today.
Of course, yeah.
I feel like, and that's not like if you want, I use the terms and all that, but in general, like, people would claim political correctness, which is stupid to me.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, just straight up, like, why are these things in there? Kind of moment. It's just like you're doing too much and you're pushing it. Road Trip legitimately feels like a film that if you remade it today, there'd be a few minor changes here and there. And then also due to the fact that they didn't have cell phones.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it'd be narratively be different because it'd be a little bit easy to get in contact with people. Because that's
Yeah, but at the same point, like, I mean, you could take that the concept and the overall frame of this movie, and you could easily put it in today, and it would feel like it fit.
Yeah,
you know.
I was like trying to look up right now like recent comedies, and like most of them are either drama comedies or like horror comedies or like mixed with another genre, and also have more of a better, more like much obviously more mature tone in general. But like Palm Springs, did you see that one? The Andy Samberg Time movie.
I heard about it.
It is really, really fucking good. I recommend, like, as soon as you can, definitely check that out. It's really funny and really like mind-blowingly weird and everything like that. But then there's like non-comedies, like I'm thinking of Ending Things or Emma. Like there's like a lot of weird stuff that's like I would consider practically more dramas than comedies, and they're all pretty serious.
It seems like they and this is kind of taken from Gabby Bell's video. So I guess shout out to Gabby Bell on YouTube.
Yeah,
watch her video on it. But talk about companies like the studios are banking on star power.
Yeah,
more so than writing. It's like. Like Kevin Hart's in like everything nowadays.
Of course,
she points out. And Kevin Hart is a funny guy. He genuinely is funny. But the problem is sometimes you can sometimes only be as funny as you're writing. Mm-hmm. And you also too sometimes you start playing the same characters over and over.
Oh, he's barely changed like the tone of the characters that he plays ever.
Yeah, and it's kind of he's hitting the same point now. I think The Rock kind of hit when The Rock started, especially in some of the more actiony or goofy roles or comedy roles.
Yeah,
he was genuinely entertaining. I think Jumanji is like a great example of both of them at their peak. The problem is The Rock. I mean, every film he's in, he's playing that same character, and honestly, Jumanji stands out because he has he's acting a little bit
supposed to be
young.
somebody else, like a character being played by somebody else.
Right, but Kevin Hart is genuinely kind of doing the same thing over and over. It's just Kevin Hart being frantic and yelling a bunch.
Yeah. I was going to say, like I mentioned, horror comedies, I would say Psycho Gorman's fucking pretty funny. Spree is very funny. Freaky is very funny.
That was a good one.
Of course, in modern culture, hindsight, raunchy comedies are very difficult to do because, like, even this movie, which I thought was, like, very fucking funny, and also this brings up the whole discussion of, like, millennials and Gen Z people with, like, sex scenes in movies now these days. Raunchy comedies, I don't think would possibly work nearly as good. Because of like the whole tone of like I'm sure you've been like you're online slightly enough to be like the discussion of like sex scenes in movies, people thinking they're unnecessary or people like not wanting them and stuff like that, and then people saying that they should be included and all that kind of stuff. It's a very of course it's very back and forth and wishy-washy. It's a whole generational thing and like what people grew up with and what they didn't. But I think that this movie, even the bits like with this movie, like the sex jokes and stuff were like probably the least they aged well, even though they were very, like I said, they were very progressive most of the time, and like I don't think anything sex related was ever not progressive.
Honestly,
that was all very good.
I think that, but like the two examples I have for this film were the scene with Josh and Beth, and then also which it's his own conversation we'll have later, but mentioning it the
DJ Qualls and the girl.
The semen selling
donation scene.
The donation scene. That scene genuinely tricked me. I did not expect it to go have the storyline that it ended up with. Which is another thing. That was Sean William Scott is known as Stifler.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is honestly, I think, a complete travesty. His name is not used enough. It's EL.
Yeah, EL.
What does that stand for?
I don't even. I was like, I looked it up earlier. And I was like, look at the actors, and I was like, when the hell did they ever refer to him as EL?
They
Or Farkas? It was the
occasionally
same
do.
like Farkas or something. Like,
I don't even know.
I never remember them ever referring to him ever as by a name, and I'm just like, oh yeah,
he rarely gets his name.
Have a name.
But this is the character I feel like Sean William Scott deserves to be remembered more so for his early years, because this character is genuinely Stifler. This is the good guy Stifler.
Yeah, 100% a good guy version of Stifler, which
Like,
is very bizarre.
He is this the sex guy, the college thinking sexy over the top guy, but he's also a dude who, like, in his own way, he made an excuse for help his friend, but he protected Beth.
Yeah.
In that opening scene.
100%, yeah.
And again, with that donation scene, I 100% expected the, I got violated kind of Family Guy humor that you'd have. Ironically, the exact almost situation.
The joke, yeah. But
right. No, he took that, responded to it, and it actually led to a good end scene.
Credit for him, very funny. Yeah, I was gonna say, but yeah, Sean William Scott, who's an actor I absolutely love from the aughts, and who, like, I know he's been in like more serious stuff since then. I'm like, his role, he's mostly known for Stifler because he was like, there were like 5 or 6 of those goddamn American Pie movies, which I'm gonna get into like a discussion about all the different aughts raunchy comedies in a bit. But Final Destination, where he played like a cowardly like nerd for the most part in the whole movie, which is a nice departure for him.
Which one was that? Which Final Destination?
The very first one.
Okay.
He was like their weird, super freaky, scared friend. He was like the scared nerd friend of like the whole group. He took it seriously from the beginning, and it was just terrified the whole time. And it was he was like.
How did he die in that one again?
He got his face like chopped in half by a piece of metal on a railroad track.
That's right. That's that one.
Yeah, that's one of the most significant kills to me. I remember the most. His body just like flops down afterwards. But and then another fun, great movie, Evolution. Where he plays, like, the dumb guy.
Oh, that movie.
He's very funny in that, too. I would love to watch that movie again, because all I remember from that movie is the hilarious shampoo ad it is.
That movie. And honestly, I think
conceptually, I love that
Sean
movie.
William Scott, even, honestly, a modern day, an actor who kind of acts modern day, who's known for comedies.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn, I feel like he shows how writing for actors versus writing a comedy and putting a random actor in is its strength. Because Vince Vaughn, I mean, he is kind of generally the same character in every film. Yeah. He is the, kind of, even if you look at Couples Retreat and Dodgeball, which are the two examples that come to my mind.
He's like the broy, quote unquote, everyman from that time period. Yeah, and then as he got older, he just played the older, everyman in that same part.
But he's like, in Dodgeball, he's, the irresponsible financial dude. But in Couples Retreat, he is the responsible father and all that. But he has the same tone and talking voice.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I feel like he works in both those films because you can tell they wrote for him. Sean William Scott, role models is another one. Paul Rudd kind of has some of the same roles.
Of course, yeah.
But some of these guys, when they written for the actors or written for a specific type of acting, then those are where the comedies work. But nowadays, in the comedies that don't work, they're not writing for those guys. You need to kind of understand. And that's the trick of comedy, and that's probably why they keep going to horror and drama, is because you can fill in more.
With better, writing can be different.
Right.
And for the drama, the writing can be better or elevated, quote unquote. And then for the horror, you have the thrill of a kill or a violence every other minute, along with the comedy.
Exactly.
Because, also, with the tradition of, like, actors like Paul Rudd and Vince Vaughn specifically, like, that also brings, like, the Judd Apatow era of, like, the aughts in, like, all I will tell you right now, I don't think I've ever seen a single one of those Judd Apatow movies. Like, I think maybe one of the ones, like, the funny Seth Rogen ones, I think maybe I saw one of those, but I don't think I've ever seen, like, any of the Judd Apatow stuff, like, during his whole...
Have you seen Knocked Up?
Nope, never seen Knocked Up, never seen This Is 40, never seen...
I Love You, Man.
Nope, didn't see I Love You, Man.
Really?
No.
Superbad, I believe, is Judd Apatow, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah.
It's got Seth Rogen, of course it is.
Yeah. So Seth Rogen stuff is also very good, yeah. And, like, all those aughts comedies...
You watch Freaks and Geeks, of course.
The show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched half of I think it was only one season regular. I watched half of the series. I guess that means, yeah.
So, it was one season. It was
very funny show. I really like the tone of it, but...
he really kind of... Didn't he do 40-Year-Old Virgin as well?
Maybe. I don't think I've ever seen 40-Year-Old Virgin in its entirety.
You never seen what?
I think I've seen 3/4 of it at most. I don't think I've ever seen the entire thing from beginning to end.
Wow.
Yeah.
He really did kind of take over and dominate.
He's one of the people who transitioned it from, like... tonally what it was, the raunchy comedy, to like the
more serious,
like improv comedy era of like that time period with those actors and everything like that. They all went off to do their own things.
I mean, they still kind of do the same
Of
thing.
Of course, yeah. Judd Apatow's still making very similar movies, I'm sure, too.
And it's a shame because some of those actors, like, I think are breaking into genres or roles I don't think they deserve. Like, I love Seth Rogen, and when he's in the right roles as a in-person person,
yeah.
I mean this in the because I'm sure Seth Rogen's gonna listen to this. Hi, Seth Rogen.
Please do.
Come visit. Well, listen, if you want, we will verbally suck your dick and watch your movies on our podcast here.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a great voice actor.
I will.
I mean, am I wrong?
Alan the Alien is a very funny character. In Invincible, he's a very funny character named Alan the Alien, and he's very good in Invincible.
Please don't ever invite Seth Rogen anywhere near us.
Yeah, that's true. He's a weirdo.
We'll make it a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Or we'll have it at your place.
Yeah, true. But I'm having it on my place. He has lunch dogs, I think. But yeah, I was gonna say he's better. I think most of the stuff he's been producing recently is absolutely fantastic. Like all the TV shows and all the comic stuff that he's been that people have wanted to do forever, like Preacher, is incredible. Invincible, she's also producing, absolutely incredible.
See, I think of it like the two roles that pop out to me are the live action Lion King, which that definitely has some.
Oh yeah, that was funny. That bit in the Chip and Dale with
Oh, that's right, he was in Chip and Dale.
The whole bit was the voice acting.
That's right. That's right. Chip and Dale was good. And honestly, I will say I did forget about Monsters vs. Aliens. Monsters vs. Aliens was good. I'll give him that one. But the Mario movie, I didn't think he brought down the film, but his role, he felt like Seth Rogen voicing Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is his laugh. It's a very unique laugh. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem with a unique laugh.
One
Piece laughing. But, like, he's... I don't know. What were we going to talk about? Judd Apatow?
Yeah.
And his whole thing.
Yeah.
But, like, some of these guys, I think that... I don't know. The whole Judd Apatow and the comedy situation, I think the problem was that it all got very samey. Yeah. It was all the same high school.
And everything was knocking off of that too after
exactly.
Arc. Everything was, and that's pretty much like the death of comedy at that point, quote unquote. Like if you want to be like one of those people, like the death of straight comedy movies was Judd Apatow was like the last person to do that kind of thing. And now it's just straight up, like I said, all like multi-genre stuff because
and I think people
really hard to sell.
Also kind of missed what made those films work. Mm-hmm. You know, yes, Superbad is known for McLovin, obviously, but I'll tell you. I genuinely forgot about how the opening of Superbad was, and I don't get how and honestly, if I didn't know about the film, I don't know how people sat through the first, 10 minutes of listening to Jonah Hill and Michael Cera talk. Mm. Oh my God. Jonah Hill's character he is that opening 10 minutes, he is irredeemable.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people didn't walk after 10 minutes of that film.
Yeah.
There was nothing. He gave us nothing. Michael Cera was good and everything.
Oh, was this the end Apatow, you think? Or no?
Probably. I mean, if you look at the actors, I'm sure it was Apatow.
It easily could have been, yeah.
If it wasn't Apatow...
Any movie with barely any script and it's a bunch
I
of
guarantee you that
probably.
Apatow's actors wrote it and thought, and probably called up, hey Apatow, how would you write this scene, or what do you think of this scene?
Name on this bad boy real quick.
Honestly, his name's not on it. I'm sure talked to them at some point about it. I mean, it was James Franco, you had Seth Rogen,
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride, he wasn't in Freaks and Geeks.
I feel like he probably was.
I feel
like he would be. So
I'm like 99% positive he wasn't. Jason Segel wasn't. Jason Segel's gone on to do his own thing in a weird way. He's the one who kind of broke from the group, surprisingly.
I feel like he's. Is he the one from that show with the soccer team?
Soccer team.
The hell's that goddamn show called? Whatever. It's that
show.
Soccer
team?
It's a comedy show.
I can't do that.
But yeah,
he did.
Was it This Is the End, or was that the other? Was that the Edgar Wright movie?
This Is the End is that one. World's End. Was an amazing film that if you haven't watched, you should go watch it right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
After you've listened to this podcast.
Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, Apatow was probably the last comedy director and genre person. Sex comedies. Have you seen the American Pie series?
I've watched a good chunk of them. I know the early few and Bandcamp. I've seen those.
I think the first three. I think the ones I've seen. Yeah.
I saw the band
which
camp
were very
one.
funny, and that's another thing that stuck in my head, which I'm sure we were like between like 6 and 12 when those came out. And that's perfect age for anybody watching those movies.
Yeah, and I feel like those are another films that
I bet they probably don't end up even worse.
Don't.
Yeah.
From what I remember, certain parts. I mean, the Nadia scene is a big one that
Of
people
course,
talk about.
yeah, which is nightmarishly terrible now by today's standards, which is another reason why sex comedies would not be like are very hard to do now. I would say, but I was going to like list down a couple of the other ones, but I was going to say comedy TV shows. Like I was saying before, I think that like TV has eaten most of movies genre or movies lunch by now. Shows like A Touch of Cloth or Angie Tribeca, which are like police procedural drama spoof kind of things, but they're like Airplane, where like every single line is a goddamn funny ass joke, pun, visual gag. That like I cannot recommend those shows more than A Touch of Cloth is like a British show where like literally every single line is a fucking pun and it's so goddamn hilarious. And then Andrew Tribeca is a really long running what's her name from the Amy Poehler's friend from Parks and Rec, Rashida Jones.
Yes, Rashida Jones.
She's like one of the main cops on that show, and she's with another guy. And it's a very...
She doesn't play an Anne like character, does she?
No, she's a like a very funny, serious cop. She's like a serious person, but she's like very funny in the show.
Is this a role that you would actually like her in?
Yeah, she's a likable character.
In Parks and
She's
Rec,
not great.
I hate her.
Yeah, she's like a wet blanket, literally.
She is the biggest wet blanket.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a wet blanket, but no, and actually she's actually funny. Like actually supposed to be.
And then in The Office, I do feel a little bad, but in The Office, I mean, her character...
She was barely a character.
Her character was great when they were in Sanford.
Yeah.
When they go to Scranton, her character falls off hard.
Yeah, and that's another show that completely destroyed any movie competition of being funny. The Office, just a billion episodes that are all very like at least a couple very funny to at minimum.
But that's another point though where I think, and that you see it when in the split between season 1 and season 2. Mm-hmm. When season 1 they're just redoing the British version but with American actors. Yeah. But then in season 2 they altered stuff. Like I know in the British version, like the boss, he was not actually. He didn't have much redeeming qualities.
No,
you see that with Michael Scott. But in season 2, that's when they added that Michael Scott was a really good salesman. Yeah, and those were the moments that really humanized him and everything.
Have you seen the British one?
I've tried watching.
It's
hard.
Unfunny. I can't at all.
I am not a big
Martin Freeman. I'm like Martin Freeman. How are you so like unfunny and unlikable in this, but you're funny and likable in everything.
I know too. Like a lot of the Shaun of the Dead actors,
of course,
are from that show.
That's a bit about like I said in another thing about like a British TV show. There's like the same like 25 actors that you see 1,000 times. Like if you watch any Doctor Who, you will see like 1,000 British actors you've seen in a billion TV shows. They're all every single one. It's like the Law and Order of Britain, where like every single actor you can imagine is like had a walk-on cameo in a Doctor Who. It's insane. But,
I
like,
believe it.
Yeah,
and it's just weird how comedies are nowadays.
Yeah,
and it's a shame too because I feel like the genre. I mean, if you want an example of my personal favorite, and ironically too, they've done a film with the Airplane writer is Trey and Matt doing the South Park guys, and I feel like they are. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I don't want politics in my stuff." In a way, they kind of do. Are apolitical in their shows because they're able to find a way to, even though that they have preferences and beliefs, to kind of counter both sides and show it. Yeah. Like one of my favorite episodes of that show is the Mormon episode.
That's very funny. Yeah.
And and you can almost argue it's kind of bad because of the way the Mormon religion truly is.
Of course.
But I mean, the entire show they dunk on the Mormon faith. The dumb 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 dumb.
Yeah.
But there is a kind of good message, of...
At the end, like, it's what the family believes, and if you don't like it, it's not affecting you at all. If you don't like it, fuck you. Fuck you,
right.
Stan.
I mean, there's ways to argue things, but I mean, it does show that there is a potential healthy lifestyle of Mormonism. Mm-hmm. Again, it's at the very least there is a potential religious healthy lifestyle, that is accepting and sharing, but not imposing. Kind of thing. Though I did see a video that kind of talked from an ex-Mormon, and apparently that some of that, inviting people in and you welcome them in, and there's a potential issues on it. But at the end of the day, their shows do that. Yeah. And also too, like Basketball is another film that I fucking love. Mm. I love it, and they did not write that film. What people don't believe, that was the Airplane writer. And if you get, that's why it's very Airplane-esque. Mm-hmm. But and honestly, I think it works because it blends their humor and styles into it. You get, the Cartman voice and the Mr. Mackey and Mr. Garrison voices in there and all that.
Honestly, freaking Cannibal Musical is a fucking amazing movie. I love that.
Oh,
movie. I go to that movie all day. But that's
Orgasmo's another good one.
Orgasmo's ridiculous. Yeah, that brings back to the actual thing I was trying. I keep trying to reel us back to, because everything's so fascinating talking about comedies in the modern day. Raunch comedies. Cannibal Musical is not really raunchy at all. They're very sexual. But then Orgasmo is ironically. Kind of, but not in the way that that's not the focus or whatever on it.
I mean, Orgasmo kind of does. Looking at Orgasmo does actually lead into Roadtrip here, which is the subject here.
Yeah.
Is I think in my when you talk about sex and comedies, I feel like sex in film and we go specifically comedies isn't problematic when it's more realistic, because in this film, the most unrealistic thing is the fact that the nurse would have done that without hard consent.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the biggest issue. But at the same point, there was it wasn't a stop. But the sex scene with Beth, with Josh and Beth, that was somebody kind of seducing the other. They getting consent, going through it, and that was something that I feel like genuinely could happen. So it was a fair showing of it, and also I would imagine that there was some level of what level of getting naked would you be comfortable with? Would you be comfortable with this? Because later on, Rhonda's actress,
intimacy coordinator is what the term now for people who actually tell judging how everything's handled and everything. So that much of creeps in,
and which is a good thing to have.
Yeah, of course. They probably had that in 2000, but it's
right,
a good
but
thing for modern movies.
Yeah,
and TV
so
shows
the Rhonda scene, Rhonda and Kyle scene.
Yeah.
She was wearing a bra.
Yeah.
It is very possible that she said, "I'm not comfortable being topless."
Yeah.
And they made it work.
Yeah. What was the other ones? Dude, Where's My Car is fucking hilarious as shit.
Believe it or not, I own it.
Really?
I've never seen it. I remember the trailer. I've seen the trailers for it a billion times. I remember seeing it on video, seeing the videos, cases itself a dozen times. I have never watched it. But reading the plot, I'm like, oh, this is where The Hangover got its entire plot idea.
Of course, yes, exclusively, yeah. Hills Old Town. What was it? Saving Silverman, another knockoff of American Pie.
I saw that film.
What's his name? I don't remember. I remember. I saw it multiple times, I think, and I can't remember a single thing from it.
I barely remember who was in it. The dude from
American Pie, the protag is the protag in that too. It's
Jason Biggs is in that.
Yeah, Jason Biggs is the main guy.
Oh shit! I
See, I know.
The only guy I was thinking that might have been in it was the
Ben
guy.
Stiller, I think maybe in it.
Was he the Remarkable Weight of Immaculate Talent?
Oh,
that one dude,
the Mandalorian actor.
Is that
Pedro Pascal?
No.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Maybe it was. Yeah, it was.
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, let's say Nicolas Cage would be funny. Pedro Pascal's in Saving Silverman?
Was he? Is that him?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember a single thing besides Jason Biggs being in it.
Maybe I'm thinking of the guy who looks very similar to him that was in a lot of those 2000 eras comedy. But you know who I'm thinking about, if that is a different actor.
Yeah, Jason Biggs probably.
No, it's not Jason Biggs. I know Jason Biggs. This is a different looking guy.
I don't know.
He looks very similar to him, though.
Zahn?
That probably. I didn't look. Steve Zahn?
Yeah, you looked that up, but I'll say that all this whole genre and everything have culminated in, of course, the actual funniest movie ever.
Yes, Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn? Okay, which one is he?
He's in Joyride.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just saw recently in the War of the Planet of the Apes. He's the funny bald monkey that they find with the little coat on who's being goofy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's really funny. Steve Zahn.
Yeah, he's another one of those era actors, though.
Yeah.
I think he was in that. Yeah. If he wasn't in that film, he was in a film similar to that.
But, of course, all these all culminated, and Judd Apatow or not, kind of, I feel like we're essentially put to bed by Not Another Teen Movie. An absolute gem of a
that is a good ass
of
film.
A funny ass movie that just took all these down and said, okay, no, we're done with this, never again.
That was a good one.
Just absolutely fantastic.
Chris Evans is in that.
Amazingly funny Chris Evans. Yes,
the banana.
Yeah, the banana. That movie is just incredibly funny because, like I said, a scary movie as well as also in the sex comedy genre, I would say probably. But that movie is another fucking amazingly funny movie. Those ways
honestly,
are out of control.
I feel like the better comparison is Scream to a genre, kind of a.
Yeah.
not even a genre, like a genre, like okay, we're you gotta change because you're not gonna get any better, and you've been called out.
Yeah, you've been called out for all of your dumb tropes and dumb like reused bad plot lines and everything like that. Like you're all cliche and bad, and it's making fun of you. Of course, everyone took Scream and just like made the abysmally terrible slasher teen genre of the aughts, which are all like hilariously bad movies, which are very fun to watch because they're just so stupid.
Though I do know, I've learned from the Dead Meat.
Yeah.
Which I guess shout out
Dead Meat, an amazing show and channel.
Yes. Yeah, totally listen to us.
James A.
Hi James, hi Zoran.
You're the best.
I learned about Tremors thanks to Zoran. So
really? I watched every single one of those movies.
I never watched them.
I watched every single one of them, all the way to the shitty fucking TV show. I watched all of them.
Honestly, I never thought it was what it was.
Yeah.
Just through osmosis.
No, yeah, so, I love those series.
There's a lot of films. Honestly, there's a lot of films I've watched even after the kill count. Yeah. Also, I started playing because I was looking for a game to play again. I've been having issues finding Switch games to play, and I saw it on sale, and because of the kill count, I'm like, I'll give it a shot, and I'm really enjoying it. Danganronpa. I had never even heard of that game until the kill count.
I didn't talk to you about that.
You might have.
A billion years ago, yeah.
The amount of things we talk about.
Of course.
But I've been playing it, and honestly, even though I know kind of, I forgot some of the later, characters, but like even knowing like how the first one goes, like going through the game and then seeing it, it definitely is very different. Just watching the kill count and some of the behind the stuff, and then actually playing it.
Yeah, all the freaking Persona like dating simming in
it. Yeah, and it's also too like again knowing the characters a little bit. And at least their base forms, and then getting to really explore stuff.
Of course,
I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, it's a fun game, but yeah, horror is a great thing. That's also like Jordan Peele says. It's like they're basically comedy and horror are the same genre. You're just waiting for like the laugh or like the surprise or the scare. Are very similar in how they're written and everything like that. But
I mean, the only problem though is that a horror film that isn't scary can still be good because it's funny.
Yeah.
Birdemic.
Yeah, of course.
But ironically, a comedy that fails, I mean, it's just a slog.
Yeah,
you cannot.
Yeah, it's probably one of the genres I like I've said, I'm sure I've mentioned it many times with our friend group and everything, but like I usually don't choose to rewatch comedies for the most part these days anyway. I not even like for most of my life. I usually, if it's like watching something again, I'll watch a horror movie 1,000 times, an action movie obviously from my choices you can tell. I watch a shitty action movie 1,000 times. A comedy, good or bad, I probably am like less likely to seek out watching it again just because it doesn't really do much for me. Yeah. But
see, I can a good films that I really like Basketball. I used to watch Team America on repeat.
Of
and same with the South Park movie. Like those are films, like those are comfort films. Mm-hmm. Those are things I'd put on to do other things or enjoy other things and all that. But yeah, a comedy is again, it's like a horror. I agree. It's just the problem is that a horror can transform. Comedy can only kind of be one thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, what some films don't do well, and I think another reason why I think Superbad was able to live outside of just McLovin at the very least, or grow outside of it, is that comedy works best when you are able to feed in, non-comedic moments that stick.
Yeah.
Like some of the end stuff that are super bad, that's what I always remembered. So that's why I forgot about the opening, Yeah. But yeah, and that's why I think you can have. That's why I think comedy added into dramas and horror works well, is because comedy and horror, like, you start laughing and it lets your guard down. So when it's ready to get you, it gets you.
Yeah.
And then also when you're got, your tension is broken up by the comedy.
Yeah.
Same with the drama. A completely somber 3-hour experience is something that, it might hit you, but you're just gonna get numbed near the end for some parts of it. But you're gonna remember the good parts or the bad or the harder parts because you're gonna remember the good in between that helped lighten the mood. Yeah. Comedy kind of has to use those other elements, and it's hard to do.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to do. Another thing on top of with the Judd Apatow, the like cultural tone of things that have changed for the also like all affected comedy. I think the thing that I see comedy out in the most is definitely podcasts. Like the amount of comedy writer podcasts that I follow that just do like other stuff like movie reviews or like just like improv podcasts like shows or funny comedy stuff. Yeah. That is such a huge, massive genre that I think also is deeply affecting people not seeking out movies and stuff like that.
I can
Because
see that.
it's actually like you'd be surprised at how many like every single like comedy writer that you could possibly imagine in Hollywood like right now has like multiple shows that they also do like for podcasts and stuff like that. And it's like
I mean,
it's
yeah,
a lot of effort. It's a very
we even
it's a
know
whole
one
media.
that inspired this podcast.
Yeah,
How
it's
did
a
it get
whole-
made?
Of course, yeah. And like but Action Boys I fucking love. High and Mighty is another fantastic. There's like a lot of really, really good ones that are like just completely taking up the eating the comedy genre along with TV and along with everything else. So it's just a very difficult thing.
Speaking of improv, something that it's sad that it doesn't really exist. I don't think it exists anymore. But we were watching the other night because I've been watching it on Facebook Reels. Whose line is it anyway?
I think it's still on.
Do they still have?
I believe so.
I
would know because I don't have cable, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I thought that I was on. I know they got a new. I forgot her name, but they had a new.
Heather
host.
and Campbell is the host for a while because I know she does the How Did This Get Played podcasts.
Oh,
yeah, but she's been the host of. She's been for a couple of years now. I think she's been like the lead person.
So,
also, Alicia Tyler.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
She's also been like in charge for a couple of years now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds bad to say, but maybe it's just off the color palette. But I thought the original was kind of better. A bit. And I know it's probably a bit biased. A, nostalgia, and B, because Drew Carey was the host, and I am a diehard Cleveland person. Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say another weird thing, just like because we're gonna continue to just talk about the idea of comedy. Ghostbusters. Do you consider that a comedy or an action movie?
That is a good question.
Because I'm going to tell you something weird, like podcast, of course, because like I said, because I'm mentioning podcasts. Scott hasn't seen with Scott Aukerman and Sean Diston. They talked about how like Sean is like a millennial our age, and he said like that's not a comedy movie to me. The original Ghostbusters is like barely a comedy to me. And Scott was like shocked by that because Scott's like I think maybe 50 or so now, and he's like, no, it's a comedy. It's like Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and all that, and it's like just funny because they're all being funny. And it was like they finally got down to it, and it was like, oh, I think it's because those actors were funny because like in the 70s and 80s they were the SNL like leads, and they were like and the whole movie was like, oh, this is so funny. The outfits are so stupid, and the ghosts look so silly, and everything's so weird. But like kids like us and most people I say with like the majority of Ghostbuster fans these days who are millennials who grew up with it at the time, it was like, no, that stuff is cool. This movie is cool, and the action is like fun and weird. It's fun and cool. And like, no, it's a comedy because it's stupid. It's just like the difference in age completely changes the tone of that movie.
Yeah,
and like people have been and that's why all the remakes and all the like retries at it and like post sequels and stuff missed the tone for both generations who liked it or didn't like the movie.
That's a good way.
Difficult
to think about it. I'll say
I don't think it was funny to me personally. Like,
I think that it's. I mean, it's got comedic moments. Yeah. But I would say that is an action because I think you have to kind of look at what drives the film.
Of course, yeah.
Like bring it back a little bit to Roadtrip. Like in theory, you could argue certain films, that are funny may not be, but like Roadtrip is driven by comedy. Like everything.
Nice pun.
But I feel like Ghostbusters is driven by action. Like you guys kind of have to look at like the main plot points and what is driving the story and plot. Yeah. I mean that's why something like Renfield is technically a horror film.
That movie's so fucking
Scream,
good.
Scream, Chucky. Yeah. Those are horror films, even though they are comedic.
Yeah.
I mean, even the goofier stuff, like they are. Those are horror films.
The latter Freddy movies.
Yeah, even then, because again, horror, that genre is what moves the plot along. Even though it does involve humor and comedy, it is the horror moment that move it. I think Ghostbusters uses action moments. The Slimer taking over, so that is that. Them taking on the ghosts, and even the climactic scene is it's a funny moments, but action versus this funny icon is what drives the plot. So I'd say that would be an action film.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
but I can see, and that's something I think too is SNL. Ironically, it influences a lot more of comedy some days.
100%, yeah.
And I think ironically the fact that it
did.
It definitely did, but I think the problem is that it still is because it doesn't anymore. Which sounds weird to say, but I mean if you think about it, Bill Murray and not Dan Aykroyd because he's crazy cuckoo bananas, man. He's funny for different reasons. But I mean, Bill Murray, as old as he is, still does comedies.
Yeah.
But also Andy Samberg, Andy Samberg, doing stuff.
Amazingly.
But
funny
of course, the big one is Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he is still almost the face of a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
And he's still, and just like Judd Apatow, Sandler uses the same guys.
120%, yeah.
And I think the problem is that no one from SNL has been able to grow and take off.
Well, I mean, what's his name?
Into the
guy
same
who
way.
has all those girlfriends and is dating people. Pete Davidson. He seems pretty big.
He is bigger, but I think the problem is like it's not just the one person. I mean,
yeah. Also,
Adam
I don't think it's funny in the
Sandler,
slightest.
Kevin James, David Spade. Ironically too, like Mike Myers, got phased out eventually, which is debatable whether he deserved it. But I mean, for a while too, like Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi and all them, like those same guys did the same comedy films.
Yeah.
And then they'd fold new people into the fold. And then the new generation would kind of, link up and take over. Mm-hmm. So then they would the older guys would break up, they'd just branch out, and comedy would take over by the new guys. Yeah. The problem is no one's done that. So Adam Sandler is still doing Adam Sandler when he was in SNL, he was in SNL in the 90s, right?
I feel like, yeah.
Something a long-ass time ago.
Whenever I find out the actual, the time periods that people were, I'm always, shocked. Like, Bobby Moynihan is a person who's, does comedy stuff now. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Bobby Moynihan, he's, on SNL, right? And he's like, no, he was on SNL from, 2000 to, 2007. I'm like, what? I feel like he was on, I feel like he's, whenever I think of SNL, in my head, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, yeah, that thing with Bobby Moynihan and Horatio Sanz and all that.
You can blame Rick and Morty for that one,
Of
Joe,
course,
probably.
yeah.
All these things and Bobby Moynihan. But even then, he's another one. These guys are great, but the problem is because they're not linking up, they don't get ironically, I bet you they're not getting the same backing
of course
that Adam Sandler probably got when he left and brought his guys on.
Of course.
And
another thing I completely forgot because we're already at 41 minutes on the concept of comedy movies. Another thing that also killed it, fucking YouTube and internet. The internet in general. Fucking utterly destroyed any chance of comedy movie being anywhere near as funny as weird shit you'd see online.
That is true.
That's another thing that utterly destroyed the concept of movies.
And it
also just ruins it for them too. Because you can find a million funny ass things on YouTube. You can find funny ass series that are hours long, or a quick fucking 10-second video that's funnier than anything you could see in a movie in the past couple of years. It's difficult. Yeah.
It's hard to make an hour and a half, 2 hour long film that is funny throughout.
That keeps attention, yeah.
Right, and that's engaging, it's enjoyable, and it then dies.
Yeah.
And it really is hard to, and also too, just the problem is sometimes ironically is that comedy has evolved to the point where you can unintentionally be funny. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, Birdemic and The Room.
Yeah, the sincerity is very difficult to make funny.
But though I will say they are the perfect example at times of what makes because B movies, those B horror films that are enjoyable. They're horror, but you could argue that sometimes that those are comedies.
Yeah, because they're so shitty.
They fail at the horror aspect in such a comedic way that you'd almost argue that if you want to talk about a hard to define, that'd be harder to define certain things. But the genuosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. That's the word I'm saying. The genuosity of the filmmaker, The Room. The reason why it has any staying power is because, despite what he says nowadays, Tommy Wiseau made that film as a drama film, and he tried, and it was he wrote it earnestly, and directed it, and edited it, and all that stuff earnestly, and yes, he did fail at his original goal, but that passion is what helped it become a cult film. Yeah. Birdemic as well. As terrible as that film is, it was made with passion. And the biggest thing about making a bad, funny movie is that you have to have passion behind it. If you attempt to make a bad joke, it's not funny. Yeah. If you make a bad joke accidentally, you can theoretically twist it into comedy.
Yeah.
But you have to start off genuine and passionate.
Yeah. And yeah, the whole irony thing is just way too, like, the people thought, like, the 90s or whatever was, like, ironic, but, like, the fucking aughts, and now it's just, like, it's uncontrollable. Because I was just thinking about, like, what about other funny thing I've probably seen recently? Madam Web or Morbius, I guess.
Okay.
The funniest thing I've seen
I'm sure that we're going to have it on the podcast eventually. But I have a strong I still have to watch Morbius. But I will say, and this is the little nugget I have to throw out, we will have a longer discussion about it, I'm sure, on camera. Madam Web, I did not think was as terrible as everyone said. I think Yule was oversold it. It was not as awful as I thought it was going to be.
You'll agree that it was bad.
I did not hate that film.
Did you see... I'm getting side-eyed from Leah. I'm sure... Well, dude, have you seen Morbius, or did you see Venom 2?
Venom
Let There Be Carnage.
2, yes. Morbius, I have not yet.
Yeah. Let There Be Carnage, you saw?
Yes.
Yeah. I would say Madam Web is slightly better than Morbius, but, like, boy, that movie was full of holes and problems and issues, I would say.
See, I can appreciate that there were the issues that were in the film, but at the same point, overall, and again, maybe I don't know what it is. I did not hate it the way I thought.
I didn't say I hated it.
I didn't think it was as terrible as it was.
I think it was very funny when she got her Bret Hart sunglasses and was floating in the air with really the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life. She was just like smirking at the fact that Adam Scott's gonna die after being an uncle for about 16 years.
There's definitely moments, and there's I'm not going to say it was the greatest film. But I guess overall, I came out of it having a good time.
I was laughing near the end of that thing.
It
was very ridiculous.
You know what I think it is? I think it was sold to me as bad and almost like it was like rough to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I had it.
I'd put it above
enjoyed
Morbius.
it.
I'll put it above Morbius, and I'll say Carnage scenes and what's it called were the best for me. IMO.
I mean, it's all again actors.
Yeah.
Actors can take a role, and when they put passion into it. I mean, podcast favorite Nicolas Cage.
He's amazing at everything.
He is amazing at everything, and I think it's because whether he is playing a serious role or a horror role or a comedy role or whatever kind of role, he gives such an overflow of passion that you have as a good time watching him express his passion in different ways.
Do you see Renfield?
I did.
Yeah, when he did that little, like, let me show you my plan, and he sips a drink, woo! I was just like, I screamed in the theater. I literally yelled in the theater. I was like, Nick Cage, you're the fucking best.
There's a movie that I watched that I legitimately had to run to the bathroom. If I did not, I was going to have peed my pants in the theater. And it was not because of the two old ladies who got upset because of the Catching Fire teaser where it just showed the logo. And they're like, well, that wasn't a trailer. So I went and saw, and it was the first time I'd ever seen any Twilight film, was Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Yeah.
Which the old ladies will always be memorable to me. Because they made, I remember them being mad at the trailer, and during the amazing, one of the best fight scenes in cinema.
Yeah.
When I think it was Seth, where he goes, Seth died. I don't like this movie anymore. And I'm just like, this is amazing. I don't know what any of these people are. I'll kill them all. But before that scene, when Michael Sheen's like, bring me the child. And he's like, oh! I legitimately had to run out of the theater so I did not pee myself. And that laugh he did. And it still gets me anytime I watch that movie.
He's the best. Renfield's fucking amazingly funny. That was really good.
Yeah.
And also another thing, of course, guys, we can't stop talking about comedy. Marvel series, people complain about the comedy in those movies. I still think they are incredibly funny. And also that's another thing that, like, they're sci-fi action comedies.
Guardians?
Guardians even. But, like, all the other ones still are, like, have very, very funny writing along with great action and characters and plot and visuals. That, like, just doing a comedy after those movies, it's, like, real fucking difficult.
I think ironic was it was Guardian. The problem ironically is that for better or worse, the Guardians films changed Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, if you think about Phase 2, you know, the Winter Soldier, Dark World, Iron Man 3, even Age of Ultron. Those were dark films. They visually were dark, and the tone was dark, and everything. And it was Guardians of the Galaxy that brought a color and life into it.
Yeah,
I mean,
color
Thor
and
Ragnarok is
yeah.
considered one of the better ones. Mm-hmm. And again, they took that bright, colorful comedy style of writing, and they went with that with going forward.
Yeah,
you know, which is it's ironic. And I have heard that Gunn was consulted to help write for it, but I have always felt in those films, Guardians 1, 2, and 3, I love them all, and I think the characters are all really, really great in there. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they're well written in the.
I'm saying we can't have this conversation again. We've had the same conversation at least 2 times before this on this podcast about how you feel, about Nebula and
yes,
yes, we literally had this multiple times.
Yeah, but again, I think
of course, yeah, I think it's writing and
it really is writing, and
yeah,
it's
but
maybe it's you know what it is. It's very possible that part of it was they maybe went to James Gunn and asked, and he had put it in. Yeah. But they then probably had to fit it into their own script because I mean Gunn's style is very unique.
Of course.
And I think it is possible too that those scenes just didn't fit in the rest of the film, because even if Gunn wrote it, maybe that was the problem. Is that Gunn wrote it and it never, the Guardians outside of their films never fit and never feel fun. Mm-hmm. You know, and yes, those are action films, but the comedy in them is what.
Yeah, I think the comedy for every one of those movies is
action drives the plot, and the drama moments is what. But you know, no, action is action. Action drives the plot, but you get to those points carried by the comedy and the drama of things.
Yeah, comedy definitely carries those things.
And also too, I think that they also lean heavily into the comedy, because when they put a drama moment in, it hits you, because one drama moment, you know, is that you can fit a dark moment. Yeah. If you're, you know, hell, it doesn't even have to be as dark. It will feel darker when you're on a high. Yeah. You get pulled down like those.
Up low. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of Gunn, that's a nice segue to my next thing I wanted to talk about. The director of this film, man known as Todd Phillips. Now, if that name sounds familiar with you, Ed, before we started recording, I asked you, did you see Joker 1 and 2?
I have never seen 1, and I didn't
trailer for 2?
Didn't even know 2 was getting.
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned him earlier, the Hangover movies.
Yeah, same guy?
Yep, he directed all the Hangovers. He also directed Joker, and now he's directing the second Joker movie. It's so weird. That is so odd to me, because like tonally, it's so opposite.
This is not the Hangover.
Also, Old School.
I never saw Old School.
Starsky and Hutch, the Adam Sandler. What's the name one?
I never saw that one either.
That's a very funny movie. I'll say, but it's also another like a fairly serious action movie as well.
What else has he done?
Besides The Hangover, Starsky and Hutch, Old School, he's done a bunch of other stuff, but like those are the main things that stood out to me. And then Joker, which is like he's won the what you win Oscars for, because that movie's so fucking insane. No. But yeah,
to be fair though, he's probably won because Joaquin Phoenix is kind of that.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
he's an incredible actor. But no, his directing, like the movie, outside of just Joaquin's performance, is fucking visually, tonally, writing-wise, everything is very, very like fascinating and very, very enjoyable. Personally, I find it a very enjoyable movie. The movie did have a lot of controversy, and that's mostly in regards to like, besides just people totally being like worried about the movie, and that was recently after like the mass shooting in theaters events were happening.
That's right.
It was also the Todd Phillips himself made some like comments regarding like the movie being about like political correctness gone wrong and all kinds of stuff like that. But it was just weird from this movie.
I mean,
where it's legit like I feel like there's like bits added into this movie to like make otherwise potentially like really problematic things completely okay. And this movie feels so like purposeful for him to like say that kind of stuff about that movie, but that also like I don't think anything about that movie. I didn't get that message at all from that movie, or like it, but it's weird.
The idea of political correctness, I feel like that's used more, that and the term anyone who uses the term woke
Of
to
course,
me
yeah,
is
they're just
it's a scapegoat. But like
Yeah.
political correctness uses the boogeyman. And
That was just the same thing.
oh,
from
it's the death of
aughts.
comedy.
Yeah, that was just the thing from the aughts. That
Yeah.
same bullshit buzzword that's just
Yeah.
used by assholes.
I feel like that's just an excuse because there, like, sorry, I need a drink a lot.
Yeah, just like
Sorry, I'm trying to eat during this as well. But I feel, Jesus Christ, I have something stuck in my throat.
It's not live on camera.
That's proof. Like I just, honestly, you need to reflect the tone and things, and I will say at times, yes, there are things when you look back at certain films,
Of course.
that are painful, that are like, oh geez, and honestly too, there are things that are on film previously that could not be on film today,
Of course.
and really, do I think that's actually a problem like people claim it to be?
Of course.
Because we growing as a society is not a problem, and you know what, it's hard to judge sometimes, because you don't have to admit that it was okay, it's ever been okay, but you can understand sometimes, art is going to reflect society, and comedy in particular especially. It's going to reflect society's times. And I don't think that's a problem. What it's a problem is trying to deny that fact. And I think that's where people get upset when you get called out for, especially nowadays, like, you can stand by your work and also apologize for problematic things you said. I like with American Pie, I think that, yes, you look at it nowadays and there are scenes that are not okay and should never be in films again.
Of course.
But at the time, admitting the fact, standing by your work, like, I'll admit I didn't think about this, but if I wasn't exposed to it, how am I going to know?
Yeah.
And the fact that I know now and can admit, yeah, that was probably a mistake, but at the time I wrote what I thought was the best scene that could have been for it. It's I don't know. People use the term woke, use the term political correctness to try and justify bigotry in terms purposeful bigotry.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't think that they wrote the Nadia scene in American Pie to be creepy and terrible. They wrote it to be funny.
Yeah.
But so you can, them admitting that is not a bad thing on them. If you wrote that scene today, knowing that it's a problem
And playing it as a joke and not as
exactly,
bad.
exactly, then you're purposefully being antagonistic in a hateful way because it's not funny. Because comedy too, like comedy needs to punch up at times.
Of course, yeah.
And I think that's why, certain comedies work and certain don't. Honestly, like people talk about conservative comedy, not again, I don't want to get hard political despite I'll, throw it out there, I'm a hard leftist.
Definitely seen the show before, so you should know.
But I think, but like conservative comedy, punching down, there are, it's pointed out, there are jokes to actually make about, the LGBTQ plus community. There are, I guarantee you that people in that community could tell you that
the
actual
funny
jokes.
jokes about their fellow people. Yeah.
Right. And you can you look at I guarantee you there are transgender jokes that you can make that are hysterical and not problematic.
Yeah.
But doing so at the cost of their existence and safety is never cool. And claiming that you can't make comedies dying because I have to be politically correct, that's just saying you don't know how to be funny without hurting somebody.
Yeah.
Because people will laugh at themselves just as, if they're not in a position of danger.
Yeah.
I think there's also the Blackening. That's granted too that was, I'm sure that film was written by
absolutely, yeah.
but also too, like, that was a film starring and written by black people.
Yeah, and it was another funny thing.
And it makes fun of the tropes.
Of course, yeah. There can be a million things that would be fucked up if somebody. Oh, what was it? There was a show. Another YouTube channel I want to shout out. Pim's Hood Cinema. Probably gonna pick some of those movies for this podcast eventually. He covers like early aughts and like 90s and 80s like hood movies or like ghetto movies or like, you know, movies about that time period or in that era or in that genre. And like whenever one is like particularly like really bad or shitty, he'll be like, man, who wrote this movie? And then he'll literally like look up the like writers and it'll show the odds, and it's usually like white guys in their 40s like writing like the worst, most like unfunny, terrible, cringe shit in these scenes, because like, yeah, it's just like they're not the people who should be writing that. But in actual good movies or funny scenes or like really funny stuff, like any of the Wayans Brothers movies, like they're funny and they're written from people from that community and they're making fun of themselves, and it's very, very, it's like people in that community making fun of themselves on the same level, and it's incredibly funny and well done when that happens, as opposed to when like shitheads who have nothing to do with it are just like trying to make fun of something that's not them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same way, you know, like you and I guarantee you, we've both made jokes, you know, that if we were to make that joke in a grand, you know, a less generalized sense, like it would not be okay.
Of course not.
You know, but you know, if I make it, I've made jokes about you and you made jokes about me, where we know each other and we're not doing it from a position of I'm punching down at you.
Yeah.
It's, hey, you know, like lightly ribbing, and we can both enjoy the joke, even though we both acknowledge at times like, nah, that's pretty fucked up.
It could be pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
there's you know, again, maybe it's not okay to say it, but you know, whatever. I don't know if you remember or not. It was back when you, me, I think Jeremy and Emily went to the grocery store.
Oh yeah,
and the watermelon cake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
that's a joke.
Of course, yeah. When we were just being like silly dumbass, like probably teens maybe.
Yes, we were just out of high school, or just out of high school.
Yeah, of course.
So that is a joke that is in all. I mean, everything. It's offensive, but in the context of who was making it,
of course,
to whom we were making it.
Yeah, it's a very tenuous thing, but yeah, Todd Phillips is, I would say, a very good director because he's done some very, very good stuff. And like I said, I love Joker. Regardless of what he says about his own work, I'll say that Joker is a very good movie that I recommend people check out to form your own opinions on it. But besides the director and, of course, writers, when we mentioned comedy as a genre in total, the actors in this movie, I like half of them I think I know from this movie because I watched it so fucking much as a kid. This movie, again, in case you forgot, because we probably did at this point, fucking Roadtrip, which we haven't said in the last hour. The lead, Breckin Meyer, I know him pretty much exclusively from Robot Chicken. Him and Seth Green.
He's the one who raised that now?
Him and Seth Green are the main people on...
What's his name again?
Breckin Meyer.
Breckin Meyer. I gotta look at some of this. Because
him and Seth Green are like the two main like producers, directors, writers, everything on Robot Chicken, and have been for like the entirety of its run. And like I know he does like half the voices on that show, and the other half is done by Seth Green. So I wouldn't say Seth Rogen by accident. Seth Green and Breckin Meyer are both the people who do.
Wait, he's in Clueless?
Yeah, he's the brother, or he's like the stoner friend who she like wants to date her in the beginning.
Okay.
He's like the main...
Rat Race is what I think I recognize.
Rat Race is another amazing one he's in. Yeah, Rat Race is a fucking amazing funny movie.
I don't remember who Spencer Lewis is, but he's in Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare.
He's the one who's the video game one who gets killed by his dad.
Oh, he's the video game dude?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but I know him almost exclusively mainly from, Rat Race, which is fucking great, and, Robot Chicken, which he does, like, a ton of the voices for.
Okay, he's in Child's Play.
Yeah.
He plays him, I didn't realize, that's a film I've seen, again, through osmosis.
The first movie?
The first one, and a lot of
He'd be a kid by then, right? I think
he was a child, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, okay.
The second one.
He definitely has a distinct look. I recognized him, but I couldn't remember where I recognized him from.
Yeah, and then the other dude, Carver, I don't know if that's the character name or the actor, but like him, I was like, why do I know this guy from? I feel like I've seen him. I was like, what do I know this guy from? I feel like I've seen him in something for a really long time, and it was Animorphs. He's with the alien kid in Animorphs.
Oh shit!
Which I got mixed up with a bunch of alien kids from bunch of other shows, like My Step Brothers and Alien, or whatever, like a bunch of those '90s and aughts alien shows. Like what the fuck? Which one was he in? Because I remember him being a weird freak. He's an alien in Animorphs. He's like one of the main Yeerks or whatever the fuck they're called.
Okay.
DJ Qualls, of course. This and I would say Supernatural is like the other thing I mainly know him from.
That was Kyle. Right?
Yeah, DJ Qualls is called Kyle.
DJ Qualls.
Yeah, he's also been in a ton of like individual episodes of shows like I Met Him as Earl, Scrubs, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Scrubs is where I remember.
He's like one or two episodes of Scrubs, I think.
Yeah, he was. That's right. He was the Was he the dude who ended up going to the morgue? because he was so bad as a doctor and he kept killing people.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
I think that was him. I gotta look at this real quick.
Yeah,
this is his first film.
Yeah. But he was in TV shows, I think, before and after a bunch. He's been in a ton of shows. Yeah, he's very, very funny in those things. Amy Smart, again, I think I know mainly from this, and then Starship Troopers was the other thing I knew her from.
Who was she in Starship?
She was like a pilot in Starship Troopers, and she gets killed fairly early on, I think, as well. But like, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, she's one of the pilots who's around for a long time. I think she's one of the main characters in that as well.
That was Beth?
Yeah, Beth.
Okay. Yeah, Tiffany was like barely in this movie.
Wait, Tiffany's the long distance girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Her I think I know from it. Is she one of them like leads in possibly Gilmore Girls or some other TV show?
Probably. I mean, it was the 2000s, probably.
Yeah, but yeah, Amy Smart I know from a ton of like shows and movies and stuff like that. But yeah, like the actors in this were fucking great. And of course, the fucking star of the show, our favorite, the best.
The guy who deserved, honestly, I think that Freddy Got Fingered exists because he was not in this film enough.
Yeah, we explicitly said that, like, yeah, he agreed to be in this, and the movie did well that they gave him Freddy Got Fingered, which fucking, of course, is the patron saint of the show.
I mean, that is the greatest experience you will ever find in cinema.
Yeah.
Freddy Got Fingered is perfect in every way.
Yeah, Tom Green is the GOAT, the best, the coolest of all time.
So, it's funny, too, like, watching this film, both times, especially in the opening scene, the cadence. You can tell the cadence.
100%. Yes.
Like, he improv those scenes the same way he did Freddy Got Fingered.
The best parts of the movie are the bookends of him just fucking Tom Greening all over the place, being a fucking incredible.
We'll get to it. Leanne, because we watched together last night together. She actually came up with potential, about this film that involving Tom Green. So eventually we'll talk. We'll get to that point.
Well, I will say that's for my list of like pre-show like talking points. Like the concept of comedy movies, the Todd Phillips and his crazy directed Joker, and then the actors and what I know them from. Anything you want to talk about preamble wise? We are an hour and 6 minutes into the episode.
I mean, not really.
Yeah, all right.
I'm that you're the I'm the guy who throws out a billion info dump of my opinion and stuff. So
well, obviously, I'm about ready to. But yeah, like I said, I watched the show. I would have definitely been in 5th or 6th grade when this came out, which is insane. But
10 years old, 5th grade. That would have just moved to Beechwood at the time.
Because I remember, but just like we mentioned, 2001, a very important year for America. Freddy Got Fingered came out.
You need more of a pause on that,
yeah, of course. We were in 6th grade, but that was like that would have been the beginning of the year, and so like. Yeah,
so 2000
the year before would have been
literally my first year in Beechwood.
Yeah. It would have been 5th grade, 5th into 6th grade when this came out. So
this is before we became the gruesome twosome.
Yeah. Oh god, but yeah, this movie.
That was around the time that I think it was we officially became so around the time Stefan left.
Yeah. Well, that was what 7.
Which what? If you're listening, Stefan,
you're great. We miss you.
You need to get a hold of us.
And you fucking still have my goddamn copy of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I know it's been 20 years, but I'm still upset about it.
You never contacted us again, you motherfucker.
He straight up took my goddamn movie.
He just vanished. Went to Michigan, right?
I think so, probably, yeah.
Like, listen, you need to get a hold of us. We are in our 30s now. There is no excuse. The internet exists.
Yeah, come on, man.
This is not the setting of Roadtrip. So, but hey, also thanks for starting the group there because you built the bonds that it still clearly lasts.
Obviously, yes, absolutely.
Listen, you wanna hit us up. Hit us up, Stefan.
Yeah, if only I could remember your last name.
I don't remember.
S. I think it was an alliteration. I think it started with an S.
Honestly, it was just Stefan to me.
Probably.
The same blue hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, freaking this movie. Okay, so ready to start the movie? Okay, yeah. Nice.
I'm hungry, damn it.
We open on the Ithaca University. I didn't Google if this was a real fucking college or not. I couldn't imagine if they would okayed. What the fuck is this?
The University of Texas is involved, so it's gotta be.
Yeah, but I feel like Ithaca's in my brain, but I think that might just be from this movie, from watching this movie as a kid so many times. Like, oh, Ithaca University, that's a real place. I remember it.
Did you look it up or no?
Nope, didn't bother.
Because Ithaca, obviously it's a real place.
It's a place, but I don't know if Ithaca College is a specific college at that place.
Ithaca College. Nope, it's real.
Hell yeah.
Private, non-profit. Ithaca, New York, founded in 1892 as a conservatory of music.
Nice. I don't think anybody there was studying music. Oh, no, wait. Barry probably was. Freddie's character. But we'll get to that scene.
That's his own good moments, too.
Yeah, we open up on Tom Green, aka Barry, giving a tour of this university to a bunch of people, a bunch of, like, randos, and he's, like, giving terrible information. Like, he's trying to say, like, this was founded in the 16th century.
In the 1600s.
Like, yeah, 1600s. And he's just like, it
1961.
says yeah, right there. Like, what's the address? Smartass. He's just so, like, non-stoply, absolutely hilariously funny.
And I think what made it was the Tom Greenisms of it.
Of course, yeah.
You know, he made it, you know, they call him out on it, and he's kind of rolled into the next part of it, you know. It was genuinely...
The research center probably, this is the research center. If you're going to be here, be prepared to endure, you know, severe electric current. They're watching us right now, and he's like moving away again. He's just so creepy.
And I think that also worked as an interesting framework of the film.
Of course.
Was because, like, if it was just about these random guys, it's kind of like a... You know, why do we care as much? But the fact that it was a story within the story, kind of meant like it had to amp itself up.
Yeah, I was gonna say another minor tangent. Did you go on a college tour when we went to CSU or Tri-C?
Nope.
I think I went on one to CSU, and I remember we went in that super tall building, and there was an earthquake.
Oh, jeez.
we were like on the 16th floor of this really tall, like, stone building, and we were like, everyone got like a little, like, weirdly, like, whoa, everyone feel like a little, like, dizzy or wobbly for a second there. Anyway, then we went on to, like, another area with, like, a library. We were sitting down, and then someone said, like, a couple minutes ago when we talked, we felt a little bit dizzy in the building. Yeah, there was an earthquake just then. And we was like, okay, I want the tour.
I never went on one. I went to Tri-C in college, in high school. I started classes there, so I just kind of transitioned straight into.
I transferred from Tri-C to CSU, and it was that's where we went to college.
Same.
I'm surprised we didn't mention fucking college and all for stuff to talk about.
I mean, honestly, college experience is an overdone trope in these films.
Of course,
and I feel like it's
just a setup for people to be, like, stupid without parents around, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But it's putting the high school mentality in an independent moment.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing, and it's.
Yeah, well, I was
hilarity ensues.
At TSU, we didn't live in the dorms since we lived so close by.
I took the bus down Kinsman, and then
the bus.
I took that, or I would do that, or whatever. Or to get to CSU, I would take the bus to the rapid station to take another bus.
Yeah, just like take 3 buses to get back because
we're
both too lazy to get our licenses.
Yep. Or what I more often than did, and to my detriment at CSU, was I'd wake up late, I'd miss one bus, and I'd say fuck it, and I wouldn't go to any of my classes. And you'd be like, Ed, we got a test today. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm not there.
Yeah, I would say, or
I gotta work at Blockbuster.
I can attest that otherwise he would be in class playing WoW on his computer instead of playing attention.
I did have a ROM of Pokemon White at one point.
Pokemon White as well. Yeah.
It was so janky back then that I thought Bastion's name. Because the one you get, I got a traded one, and it had a different name than in the English version. The ROM I had was based off like a translation, a weird translation stuff. So it wasn't full Vietnamese crystal, but
of course, yeah. But
I was terrible. I was the worst.
College, that's overrated.
But to be fair, when I was at CSU at that point, I had flamed out onto music. And I was kind of struggling to find anything.
Of course, yeah.
And the college experience. You know what? Honestly, the fact that sell it as it is,
of course, yeah,
is kind of a massive detriment.
But that's where millennials are where they are now because of what movies like this did to us when we were in 5th grade.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to go to college, we got to party, we got to get a degree, and it'll be fine after that.
Yeah, I mean,
and then the movie's over, right?
We never.
Then it sucks after that.
Listen, unless you did and I didn't know, I never partied like that.
No.
At least I never went to parties like that. I went to parties like that in high school at Mitzi's house.
Yeah. Parties was barely a thing that I would do. I'd fucking have time. I don't have time for that. I have to fucking get home and play WoW.
Exactly.
Which is also actually also the college experience. Is this LAN parties and fucking off from class.
Exactly. Like I said, literally in high school at Mitzi's house. And even then, I remember there was one party where somehow I didn't die because I had like 4 Red Bulls and like 5 Monsters. And I sat in front of the Xbox playing Halo multiplayer. It was only, of course, local. 4 people. The bottom 2 people had to give up their controller for like 2 hours, I did not have to give up my controller because I always won or came in second.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say,
boom.
The most partying we did was when you had your own place and we got fucking fucked up drunk playing drunk. That's probably the drunkest we've ever been. Anytime I hang out with friends, is drinking beers and having fun.
That's up there with my drunkest moments.
Oh, up there. That's awful. But anyway, we'll talk about drunken moments in a minute. We actually get to the party.
Speaking of drinks,
yeah,
cheers.
Yeah, of course we're drinking now.
Cheers.
Clink, even though it's a can and a glass. But yeah, Bear's giving the tour, and then they say like, "What the hell? This score fucking sucks. What the hell? This college sucks. There's anything cool here?" He's like, "Oh yeah, there's the cool stuff happens here all the time."
Which, by the way, he says cool stuff happens here, and then proceeds to tell a story about all these events that happen off the campus.
Yeah, exactly.
So technically, all the cool stuff happened between Ithaca, New York, and Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I was like,
which is his own nebulous. They're in Tennessee after 2 days, and then they're suddenly in Texas.
An insane trip. And they get back in time somehow.
Yeah.
We actually get the flashback of I barely wrote down anybody's names. His name Josh is
Josh
Breckenmeyer's character.
Yes, Josh and Tiffany.
Yeah.
Josh and Tiffany were like best friends as little kids.
Little kids and dated all the way up through high school.
Yep.
And then in college they went to different colleges. She went to Boston, Austin, Massachusetts.
all right then, Barry, calm down.
She went to Austin, Texas, and he went to Ithaca, New York.
Which they never gonna give a reason for that. Did he not get in?
Anybody studying?
That is true. Which is a big plot point.
Yeah.
At the same point.
Yeah. What the fuck is that class even that he's in? Whatever. We'll get there in a second.
I don't even know what a class is.
Yeah. Oh, we also forgot to mention that Tom Green mentions that he's been at the college for 8 years.
I mean, it hard tracks.
Yeah, it's very.
He talks about things as if they're happening still at the college. So.
Well, he's also a crazy person.
That is very true.
Yeah, Josh and his girlfriend have a long distance relationship. Then we see a scene of Tiffany with some guy talking about how she had to take twice as much birth control because they had so much sex.
I had to take 2 birth control pills.
See, that's a funny sex joke.
Exactly. That's a joke that, especially in the era, you could make a I don't understand birth control joke like that.
Yeah,
that's
stupid.
Funny. That is good.
But yeah, they.
That is, of course, just one of the. Honestly, she gets more screen time in these in this and another fake dream scene.
Yeah.
Which says something, but
of course,
it's a dream by Josh, which I wrote down, and I don't know how many of these are right and how many I was wrong on, but I was looking at this time. I looked at some of the poster names.
Oh God, yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know if these are real or if these are fake. So originally I thought one of them was Archer's Loaf. It's Archers of Love. I saw Super Chuck.
That might be real. Yeah, that sounds possibly real.
But it was one of those what? And then I wrote Herius, but I noticed also later at a point they said Cut. So I don't know if this is a movie called Cut or if what it was. I also don't know. It was like a horror-y kind of thing. And then there was Emperor Motor Records, which had a sumo wrestler in a Takeshi Castle style looking photo.
I'm just set deck making their own posters of weird shit.
Exactly. I'm like, are these real? Are these references that I wouldn't get because I'm not? They were for the 30-year-olds starring in this film. When they were our age, in college 10 years prior, or what?
Yeah.
I saw those and I'm like, I have to write these down because some of the sets and things were crazy.
Of course, we meet his we pretty much go to the next morning. We meet his roommate. Who I don't know if I don't know if it's Carver or Carter is the character's name or the actor's name Carver, but he's Tom Green is staring at the snake that they have. It's a ball python.
Ruben is the guy with the fro.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Carver must be the
I had to look at the end of my fucking notes.
Yeah, because they don't say anybody's name.
They don't say
They say Barry 1,000 times, even though he's not in the.
Well, they make a joke about that.
Yeah, exactly.
They make a joke about that. That's how you remember his name. And Josh and Tiffany's name get used all the time.
Yeah,
but Sean William Scott's character and
DJ Qualls' character.
DJ Qualls, they didn't use Kyle's name a lot.
Kyle, yeah, they say Kyle sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, we meet the roommate. He's like, what's it called? Tom Green's obsessed with the ball python, and he really wants to see it eat a mouse.
Yes,
it's like his whole lot in life. And
that is his entire involvement of this film.
His entire movie is just him in there,
and it's actually plot relevant.
Oh yeah, it is. It's very, very funny,
and it has a good payoff.
100%.
100% payoff. Very satisfying.
But yeah, I forgot to. I'll get to when he shows up in the movie. But yeah, he's like, no, you can't. I can't overfeed the snake, or he could die. And also, I'm like, well, a ball python that size, of course, that's someone who's had ball pythons. You wouldn't feed him a live rat. Now, or that's like, you're responsible to feed him a live rat. You'd fucking definitely give him a little, like, frozen one. But yeah, he's just like, just for the sake of the movie to be funny, I guess.
Let's say, but how else is Tom Green going to put a live
Of course, he has to put a live one in his
mouth?
mouth. They have to get to that point. That's the point of the scene, not to be realistic. Yeah, he's like, he's hanging out with him. He's like, come on, let me feed the snake. He's like, it'd be worth it if you die so I can see him eat a snake. And he just be like a psycho weirdo. And the guy's like, no, you're crazy.
But I will say this, going forward, he listens to the rules.
He actually follows it.
He does. And I think that's another point
he was just joking before being funny, but yeah.
Yeah, he's joking and he's over the top, but at the same point, and I think that's what makes this film really good is, despite my opinion, honestly, I'll get to it in a minute, but like everybody has a good relationship, even if they're not 100% on board with everything about the other person.
Yeah.
Like, at no point, so Josh and Tiffany, Josh is obsessed with Tiffany, and the long distance relationship. He makes videos to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He calls her every day, and the guys, they razz him on it. Sean William Scott, is like, you should just get with Beth and you forget about Tiffany and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they respect each other and will share their opinions openly. At the same point, respecting the other person's opinion.
And actively help.
Tom Green
people in their
wants to see a snake eat a rat.
Yeah.
But he never breaks the rules.
Or harms the snake out of regarding it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very funny. This next scene we meet Amy Smart's character, Beth. She's talking to Josh outside of the park, just talking about catching up on stuff and just kind of vaguely flirting with each other.
Which, by the way, in this movie, I'm sure he looked older than Tom Green.
Yeah, I'm curious how old he was actually. He probably was in his 20s. I wouldn't be surprised.
He looked 30.
Yeah, that's Breckenmeyer's face.
He looked 30.
That's Breckenmeyer's face.
He has an old man face.
He was playing a high schooler in the Freddy movie he was in, and that was I think early 90s. I want to say maybe 80s.
90s, I think.
Yeah,
it was early.
So I think he was probably actually in his 20s. But yeah, and then he walks off.
He's one of those guys. Ironically, Paul Rudd looks the same age. He could pass for 30s in his 60s. Mm-hmm. This dude can barely pass for 30s in his 40s. He can definitely not pass for 20.
Yeah, it was
or 19. Or I guess they would be there. He seemed like he was there for maybe a few years.
Yeah.
I want to say they were second year of college.
I would assume because they're pretty whatever with the university, and they're also fine with leaving the university for that long. I would say second or third year definitely.
Yeah, I feel like second year because I feel like too the other part of it is 2 years at college. Oh, any more than that would have felt like this long distance relationship would have been in a definitely weird state.
Yeah, it would have been weird after 1 year. So yeah, I think probably a beginning or middle of the second year, I would say. Because the way that they're like I said, okay with leaving for that long, and also how blasé they are about everything. Because everyone seen the mean pictures of the first day of school, you're just up all nice, and it's the last day of school, and people are wearing dirty, ripped up sweatpants and just barely wearing a shirt, their hair completely not done, and everyone's like, oh fuck it, I'm just going to college again.
So
yeah. We meet Anthony Rapp, the weird stalker.
Okay.
Now, this actor I know, he's been in a ton of sci-fi shows and stuff. He's been in a ton of shows things that I recognize him from now. Even he's also in the current Star Trek. Not the Picard one, the other one before that. But he's
the Enterprise. That was the prequel.
No. The modern series that's airing now on Paramount Plus and stuff like that. He's on.
Was it New Frontier?
I can't remember. But he's also been in a ton of other movies that I've seen him in before this. But I recognize the actor immediately. Oh, also he's Rent. He is the nerdy one who's recording all the time in Rent.
I've never seen Rent.
Also, I think the
all I know about
Broadway
Rent
show.
is the joke from Team America.
Yeah,
everyone has AIDS.
Yeah, and that's not far off from that movie and show and play. But I think he was he was the onstage character and in the actual movie for years.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he's working at Huge does God is awesome, which is very funny.
Fuck this. Okay, this dude is
an insane stalker.
This dude is 100% unreal. You hate this character from the minute you.
Yeah, he's supposed to be annoying as hell, and it's funny.
In a weird way, he's kind of in the film so little that it's the perfect amount because every moment that this dude is on screen, you hate him.
Yeah, he's just
and
like,
you never get a
sucking.
reason. You never get a reason to like this dude, and I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what this film needed.
A perfectly shitty, annoying guy.
So,
And
which
it's
because
very funny.
because so like well, again we get to it closer to the end, but like Beth's character is a very like, in my opinion, she's a weird ass character to try to figure out.
Yeah, she's very all over the place.
But like this dude is one of the more stable characters. From
Yeah.
the minute you see him, you hate him.
Yeah.
And watching him get foiled is just so enjoyable.
Yeah, but also watching him like be an antagonist is also funny and enjoyable because he's just so funny in this movie.
Yes.
Or he's not funny; he's just so interesting in this movie. Like he's a good character in this movie, a very good character.
Yes.
He's also one of the few like serious people, I guess.
Yeah.
But we see that he's going to his ethics class with his weird deep voice professor. He's like barely paying attention in the actual class, and then afterwards he's talking with them, and he says, "Hey, remember you need a B in this class." And then Anthony Rapp, who I guess is the what is it called, the student teacher? What is
Teacher's aid or something?
Teacher's aid, yeah. Says like actually he needs a B plus.
But how does that's something I gotta ask. Like, maybe I don't understand college, but I feel like that dude Jacob is a student. I think his name was Jacob. Yeah, it was Jacob.
Yeah.
He is even if he's a teacher's aide, he's still a student.
Yeah.
There's no way he should actually be able to have that much information about a fellow student, right?
I'm sure if he was sneaking into the professor's office, we find later, he probably could have access to it.
But then at that point, the professor should be like, okay, yeah, you're done. You should not be knowing this much about your fellow students.
Yeah, I don't know. But also, weird side tangent. A really weird specific thing from school. Do you remember in 8th grade, our computer class, there was like a teacher's aide that was this like blonde-haired woman. She was kind of young. She was like a teacher's aide. She like always
Which
was a teacher.
class?
Our computer class, I think it was in the new building. I forget what the teacher was, but she was like a student in college, but she was sitting in on this middle school class, like learn how to be a teacher and whatever the hell.
I vaguely remember this.
She was vaguely remember, but the only reason I remember is because we were talking about the politics at some point in that class, which it would have been, I think, 2004 or 5 at that point, maybe 3. But like, I don't know if the main teacher mentioned or like revealed or whatever that she was conservative.
3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, he revealed that she was a conservative or Republican, something like that, and that was the first one I'd ever met in my entire life. The first Republican person I've ever met or someone new, and like literally, I remember like all the guys. They may have been like most of the black kids possibly. Were like, "What the hell? Like, wait, really? You're a Republican?" Blah blah blah. They were asking all these questions about it, and it was just like a very confused but like inquiring way, and that was like literally the first time I've ever met someone in real life who like was a Republican, and it was just like, wait, so you voted for George Bush? Like, wait, this is what you think, and like this is what you believe. It's really weird, and just like, I think eventually he calmed us down and told us again, like, it's not talking about coming back to class or whatever the hell, but it was just like a really weird incident of like the first conservative person I met in real life, and it was just like, it was so odd that it was so out of character for her because she seemed so nice and normal. Oh well, but anyway.
Though it's hard. This is ironically one of those hard to gauge things because conservatism in 2024 and conservatism in 2003 are vastly different.
Of course, yes.
Because Trump has supercharged the right.
Yeah. And I bet she was able to say that at all in school. It's also probably weird and different.
So
yeah.
It's that's surprising though.
I remember it was like he probably only mentioned that in one class that I was in. He probably may have not been in that class with me, but it was just like a very weird thing that I found out, and it was the first person like that I've ever met. And that stuck with me forever. Cause I still like remember her now, like literally 20 years later, literally.
Ironically, that part of it could be is because I know you mentioned parts of your parents' history and all that, and the fact that I went before Beechwood. I was at Aurora, which to give a description for is rural Christian, like basically that's where you start getting into the farmlands of Ohio.
Course.
I mean, literally they're on the border of
inexplicable southern accents.
Yeah, exactly. Of north people in the north with southern accents.
Yeah.
And all that and all that. So for me, I may not have actually recognized that they were conservative, but I guarantee you that the amount of people I saw that were conservative,
Mm-hmm.
Though also too, I have learned through, multiple times that people sometimes, and not as much I think nowadays, but there was a time I think, especially before Trump, where people would look at someone like me and just assume, because I kid you not, and I will share this story because fuck him. I won't say his name. But when I was at the casino, I was sitting next to one of my coworkers who was white, and it's in a more impoverished area, and of course, gambling targets the lower parts of society, which of course, is usually Black Americans, and it was a black couple like arguing, and my coworker looked at them, had like a little kind of stink face on, and straight up used the N-word towards. He's saying about them was like effing N-words. Yeah. And it was just one of the, and I will say I didn't fucking react and call him out the way I should have, but it was one of those moments where it's like, this is someone who made an assumption based on the way I looked.
Yeah. That's insane.
So, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, now that we've talked about
well, I mean, hey, you can look at, what's it called? I'm assuming he's a piece of shit because he behaves like a piece of shit. Whatever his name is. What's his name? I like I said, Anthony Rapp. I don't know the actual...
Josh,
yeah.
Don't try Jacob. Josh is the good guy.
Yeah,
Josh is the main character. Jacob.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's inconvenient, but yeah.
Jacob is the kind of person who would use the N-word.
Yeah, he sucks.
Which he uses a black, like a black...
the voice of the very
black
funny
sense. He uses a black scent. I even wrote it down. I'm like, is this really... This is one of those moments that
definitely
is
not
like...
okay. It's a funny gag, but it's not okay.
It's like... would that be something that we would write today?
Yeah, of course. Well, I honestly probably think that scene could play out the same way, and it just would be exactly as funny, I think. But it's also a piece of shit character doing it. So
you know what I think a part of it might be? That it's easier to I don't want to say excuse, but it's easier to take because it was more so because the teacher didn't have a distinct voice.
Yeah, he had a very weirdly distinct voice. As I said, it's a weirdly deep voice teacher.
Like me trying to imitate you, that's not okay.
Yeah.
That would not be okay. But someone with that very distinct kind of voice, then it's kind of more so you're going after the speaking volume or tone versus the accent kind of thing. But anyway,
he needs a B+ in the class. Student teachers are a riot. We finally next scene we meet Sean William Scott's character, who like I said I didn't write down his fucking name, EK or something, something fucking insane sounding. EL something, Farkas or whatever. He's being funny and horny. I just call him Sean
William Scott on
my notes. I literally just refer to Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
He's being a horny goofball, but like more PC, less shitty than Stifler.
I think ironically, because I wrote he does start adjacent to Stifler, and I think it's the moments where Stifler would keep going or go too far. This character goes. He doesn't. He has the control to realize, the effects of his behavior on others. Yeah. And it's very, very surprising, especially because, again...
He's something off of Stifler?
I saw this a few months ago, 2024. So I recognize, and I've seen him in other roles, but Sean William Scott is Stifler. Yeah. And Sean William Scott in a high school / college setting is Stifler. And this character starts off very much like Stifler.
Yeah.
So for him to then be a good guy.
A good guy for the most part, yeah. We get to see he's being out horny, telling him to go ditch Tiffany, go with Beth, but he won't because he loves his Tiffany too much.
Yeah.
He decides to give her another call, and then he's like, her roommate's like, "What the fuck are you still calling here for every single day?"
Okay, this annoyed the fuck out of me.
That was hilarious
because again, plot reasons, I get it, comedy, but what bothered me was like, if she's getting that annoyed at him calling and calling, just be like, hey, she's out of town because something bad happened.
I don't think she knows why. I think
she has to know. You're telling me that her roommate...
she's not... Yeah, she said
her roommate doesn't know... Her roommate knows him and knows...
Also, she may be just a shitty person that she didn't tell.
I agree.
I thought about this too. She says, no, she's not here. And she didn't sleep here last night. Again. So she's annoyed that she doesn't even know where her roommate is. So you're wrong.
Okay. That's my wife, and I'm wrong.
Thank you, Leanne. But yeah, like I said, she's understandably pissed. I think at him calling too much and at her not being there. So I think if she knew that her uncle or whatever had passed away, grandfather, which we will probably reveal later, she would have probably told him that and said, "Stop calling her. She'll call you when she gets back." Bye. But she's probably just annoyed and doesn't know why she's gone and just like pissed off because this annoying boyfriend from far away keeps calling and bothering her. And she's probably stressed from school because school's annoying and sucks. So.
She was studying. All right, you know what? I was wrong. Also, this entire plot point,
best character in the movie. Tiffany's roommates.
Yes, this entire plot point though, 100% solved with cell phones.
Of course, yeah. Just call her at her fucking grandfather's funeral. Or she'll text you and say, I'm at a funeral.
I'll say, yes.
And the roommate, thank goodness.
The roommate would have known because she could have texted Tiffany. And Tiffany also could have more easily gotten a hold of Josh, who also would have been calling Tiffany instead of the roommate's cell phone.
And maybe if
the whole film is 100%.
Just like Seinfeld, yeah, like the whole show wouldn't have happened if the fucking cell phones were invented then.
Exactly.
Yeah, if depending on how their relationship with the roommate is or not, or her relationship, she could have said like, "Hey, I sent her the wrong tape. Send that back, please. Don't watch it. It's my friend." But maybe she watched it. It's still gonna be bad.
You could have.
But anyway, we'll get to that. We haven't got to the plot point of the main incident of this movie yet. The inciting incident yet.
That is very true. There's a fair amount of setup though.
Of course. But yeah, the party scene is next, where earlier Sean William Scott mentioned, or call his full name every time.
He's Sean William Scott.
Yeah, Sean William Scott mentioned that they're kind of some kind of like girl auction. He's like, I want to buy a girl. He's like, no, it's like it's not like that. It's not creepy as it sounds. And then the party scene actually happens, and we actually see the auction.
Yep. Which, by the way, I noticed, maybe it's never really came back up again. I noticed Josh was kind of cool with like everybody. He was like, hey, person I've known.
Yeah, he's a
hey,
chill
what's
guy.
up? Hey, crazy handshake, like to everybody. But that never really gets explained or brought up again.
He's a chill, regular ass dude, I think is the point.
That's why he's got to be in his like second year.
Yeah,
right? There's no way a freshman is like that.
You wouldn't know everybody, and you wouldn't be cool with everybody like that.
There's no way they're not.
But he's friends with people who do go out and party and get stoned and bury his insane ass.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I did like also too that he showed up. Like,
yeah, he showed up and everyone was like, yeah, it was very cool, chill. The stoner friend, I forgot his name already. Ruben. Okay, yeah. Ruben.
I just called him Fro Guy eventually.
I literally was just gonna keep calling him Carver because I couldn't remember. But anyway, yeah, his smart friend. The alien from Animorphs. He was just trying to like get this girl to smoke pot with him, and they're like, "Oh, cool, let's fucking get high, and this bread's gonna be fuck up our memory and be really cool. It's gonna make us like get rid of our inhibitions." And she's like, "That's what I want." He's like, "Okay, cool," making that less problematic than it could have been.
He's a weird. He's a character.
He's a bizarre character too. Yeah, he's very difficult to track. And you don't even get his like thing until way later. But like
even then, I don't.
Yeah, even
it feels like it's like out of left field. Like someone's like everyone else had a growth. He just kind of.
I feel like you remember. Yeah, I feel like when watching this movie back when I was a kid, I was like, so what the hell is this character's deal? Like, I get Stifler. I probably was calling him Stifler then. Is very funny and horny, and DJ Qualls is a nerd, and the main guy is boring main guy. But what the hell's with the? Is he smart or is he a stoner? Or
he was the fourth guy.
He's just the fourth guy.
He's the Ringo Starr.
Yeah,
of
pretty
the
much.
film.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like having this girl. He's like, hey, it's gonna get rid of her inhibitions. He's like, that's what I want to do, and it's like very, equally a very good scene.
See, for me,
got my phone again. It's been a while. I haven't done that since like I think Avatar or something like that.
See,
oh no, it was definitely Snyder Cut.
You noticed that guy? I wrote down in my notes. What the fuck is Tom Green doing?
Yeah, he's like
how is he doing this?
Rubbing his nipples.
He's randomly in this room with these two women. How did he get? Why did they?
How
go
long
up
have
there?
they been at this party?
Right,
that shit hasn't happened yet.
Is this his room?
Also, is this the party or is this somewhere else?
Right, is this his room? Because he doesn't live with Josh.
Yeah, and there's also another scene of just Tom Green by himself being wacky.
Yeah,
completely away from all the other characters, just by himself being wacky in an area. But yeah, cutting between the auction and Barry getting his nips rubbed, and the stoner dude, we get the auction going, and Sean William Scott makes an effort to say, like, okay, you're not buying the girl, you're buying like time, you're not buying like sex or anything like that. Nothing is promised.
Yes,
very progressive and very like fun to explain explicitly with that part. Yeah,
that was a way to turn what could have been in any other, especially around that time,
problematic. Yeah,
normally you're buying the girl and whatever she's gonna do for you, and it's it's the dentist of the. It's implied.
The implication.
The implication of it.
Yeah, it's the implication.
You're buying the implication of things. He straight up is like, no. You're just buying her time. You're buying, your purchase here is so that she will spend time with you, and then she has full control of what she does or doesn't do with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was, again, that was so nice.
Still a little weird, but the auction affecting this auction at all is very weird.
But I mean,
did you see what the money's going to, or is it just like to him or the girls or what?
I mean, there was like a fraternity, so I'm assuming it was like a frat party. It's like I'm sure too that they were like some sorority fraternity thing because guys are the worst.
Of course. Yeah.
Speaking of guys are the worst, Beth is of course sees the auction going on and notices Jacob, this creepy dude, and so she goes finds Josh, and it's like, hey, you got a bid on me. Jacob's here. And he's like you can tell at this moment that she is like genuinely afraid
of him. Yeah.
Like he's the kind of guy who thinks
creep.
that he's purchasing the implication.
Yeah, he's a creep.
So
But she's like, okay, fine. In my mind, I like Baron saying, Baron, does she give him money? But no, she didn't. She didn't give him anything. She said, whatever you have, just use that, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's funny that but fortunately, Stifler, Sean William Scott helps him.
Yeah, and that was another great
the action
moment.
Scene happens. Yeah, they start betting, and obviously Jacob has more money, and he's able to offer more. But like as they're going back and forth with the bidding. Also, the funny bit with the like, she's not. I got offers like $3. Like she's not a Happy Meal. Jeez, and I'm like, oh, this is 2,000. Happy Meals worth $3 or whatever the fuck.
Right.
How much are they now? You would know better than
They're
me.
probably like $5 or $6. But honestly,
maybe they're like $10. I wouldn't be surprised.
honestly, we don't buy them because it's easier to just
buy
buy the
nuggets?
combos of
Have them share, of course. Yes.
Exactly. Also, they have enough toys. They're also into Pokemon nowadays, and I can spend $13 on a Pokemon toy instead of paying $13 on 2 nuggets, 3 fries, and then a plastic toy that will break or get lost under the couch after 30 seconds of it in their hands.
Exactly.
So,
but yeah, Josh and Jacob are betting back and forth, but then like Josh runs out of money. Jacob.
And it's like a clear, it's like 25. It's like 26.
Okay, so Josh says 26. So 26, anybody says 27. Okay, anybody have more than 26? And the guy says, I said 27.
He's like, no, he said 30.
I said
30. I got 30.
Yeah.
Hey, over here. Hey, I sold $26. And that was
like, yeah, it's very funny. That's a very chill, good bro move of him.
And again, that's a moment where you
save somebody.
You save some, like, you're good, like, it's good intention. You got the the dentist, like, jerk ass guy.
Yeah.
Jerk ass.
Jerk ass.
Like, the jerk ass guy gets his comeuppance and everything, but is, not just, it's just, he's a part of the scene instead of, tell me when.
Yeah, go.
Oh, all right. Hey, we're back from a quick little interview there, because I want to put on what my wife just put on about Sean William Scott's character.
Yeah.
So, she explained, and 1,000% she is 100 billion times right. Sean William Scott is a perfect example of a non-toxic masculine character.
Yeah, very positive masculinity, yeah.
He is a guy. He's douchey, he's, very much into, masculine things and sex with women, and he's very much masculine presenting, but he's also not toxic with it.
Yeah, he's caring about his friends, and he's standing up for people, protecting people who are in danger.
Yes,
yeah.
He is
positive masculinity. Yeah,
because you think about it, how many other times have we seen in movies or whatnot that the guy who bid more money? You think about it. This money is going to the fraternity most likely. Yeah. Again, we don't know. It's just kind of nebulous, but you can infer it's fraternity money. He's turning down extra money, even small amounts. Still turning down potential money. In 2000, that's like a 4-pack. That's 4 6-packs that he turned down to protect not only a woman, but to help out.
Help his friend as well.
Yeah, it was a genuine moment, and
he's very good. He's one of the best characters in this movie.
He really is. He is a genuinely great character, and again, that is a character who can be, because people claim, especially nowadays with the masculinity stuff, like, this is what it means to be non-toxic.
Yeah.
This is what it means. Someone who sells Beth off to a clearly, I am uncomfortable looking at this guy. Beth showing it kind of thing. Like, he protects her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome and 1,000% non-toxic. So this is how you write a non-toxic character who is also masculine and macho and all that shit. Very funny. So, Sean William Scott, because I know you're totally listening.
Yeah, you're an awesome dude.
You're an awesome dude, and you played a great character.
You're great in everything. You're very, very funny, and you're a cool dude.
Hit us up. We'll talk about a movie that you want to talk about on the podcast. You get to choose the movie.
Of course, whatever you show you up, you can absolutely pick the episode. We also forgot to mention earlier that he does record video. We mentioned that he records videos for his girlfriend, but the thing was that he told the stoner roommate to send a specific video off to her at some point. We completely forgot to mention that plot point, but
I feel like that can all get explained.
Only relevant later. Also, I'm pretty sure I forgot. I completely missed that fact. Like the first time I watched the movie, I'm pretty sure I was like, "Wait, what the fuck is this videotape thing? This concept?"
What I want to know, he said that before going to. He said that.
He told him to send it before the day.
Right, and then the party happens at night. And records himself, and then the friend sends it out. So
no, I'm he's not gonna send it until the next morning when it's left in there.
But then why did he ask the friend to do it when he was back in his room?
He told him to do it that day, and then he didn't do it until the following morning after they had recorded themselves. Which the next scene is Beth and him sleep together, and she records him. and them sleeping together. So it wasn't him being in like a girl's group without her permission or something like that, which also another thing they avoid.
Yeah, it was. I was just like, why did he wait so long? Why did the friend wait so long? And also at that point, why didn't he say, hey, since I found it, you sent
He's a stoner, and also the movie needed to happen.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, they said they sent their videos, and of course Beth wants to record them, and it's you'd almost argue a little bit like she's kind of coercing him a little bit, but she doesn't. He keeps saying kind of no, but then he does say yes.
Yeah,
and then that's when it continues, and I think that's another small moment that's really good in a 2000s movie.
Yeah. Like I said, it was her choice to record him, and he was okaying with it, obviously, and it wasn't like a creepy, shitty thing like in American Pie.
Yeah, but what I want to know. So she starts kind of seducing him, and does he truly think that after 2 or 3 days? At this point, that not talking to Tiffany means they're broken up, because he changed his mind on not cheating on her.
Yeah.
Really, again, movie has to happen. It was like out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was more like a vague concept of is Beth into me or not, and then also just explicitly being in that situation that changed his mind, I'm guessing. But that's she records him on the weird camera that he has in his room. Also, I guess this is his room.
Yeah, it was his room.
The party was happening in there.
I think he and
I thought
her
it was
went
a dorm
back.
building, or was that a fraternity?
That was a fraternity house. I think they went back to his dorm room,
which is also pretty crazy. But
to me, at that point, it seemed like he did, but he didn't seem like he was like. I mean, again, it's nice to say it, but it's also plot wise, he wasn't like. Clearly wasn't like on anything. He hadn't had much to drink, if anything. He wasn't like some drunk out of his mind.
No, I think they're both like
they
sober
were very
enough to make
sober
decisions, and they're just very two consenting adults in college.
Right.
So
which again, that was nice. But plot wise, I think why did he? Again, he hadn't talked to Tiffany. Was he that bitter? But again, how long has it been? Again, that's another nebulous point. How long has it been? Because I mean. He's known her at this point, Tiffany, for they've been friends since they were, 2 years old, it seems like. So he's known her for 40 years. Or whatever. But he changes his mind after he sees this one girl who, okay, listen, no body shame, but Beth's got, I'm not saying they weren't, they weren't awful, but they were pretty small. She was she was a rocket.
I think we have to claim that I'm going to edit something out again. I'm going to edit this out of the episode.
Sure you are. They were not that big. Also, the most unrealistic thing about this movie, that Beth was not wearing a bra. Listen, I don't, it's the 2000s, so,
You're making fun of how small her boobs are. Maybe she just didn't want to wear them. I don't know.
They were still...
And I don't think you've known somebody with small boobs before. They don't wear bras.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently I do not know any women with small boobs. So, okay. Again, I was wrong because... Yep. I was wrong.
No, let's spend more time on this, C-Dad. What did you think of her boobs?
They really just... It was just like...
Smash cut to Tom Green singing. There's all kinds of animal noises.
Again, this was another great scene.
Yeah, it's funny, him being funny, but then also Sean William Scott's mouthing along the lyrics because he knows the stupid song that Tom Green sings. And also Tom Green's playing on the guitar in the fucking music college, so...
Yeah, and Leanne pointed this out too. It was like, Sean William Scott was really into it, and even... Ruben, he looked kind of what is he singing? But he still appreciated it. Again, these guys had genuine care for each other.
Nice, good friendship.
Yeah, and that was so nice.
It was very fun and funny.
It makes Kyle's inclusion a little weirder.
Yeah, we'll get there in 10 seconds. But I was confused by his introduction. Josh comes in, fucking.
Yeah, I will say I'll give credit that I think that this all set up does maybe explain how Kyle got integrated into the group.
Yeah,
because again, they are guys who value friendship, and they could sense that from Kyle. They got good vibes, and they gave good vibes.
Yeah,
non-toxic masculinity.
Nice. Yep.
Knock your pens over.
But yeah, we then cut to the next morning. Josh comes in for, high-fiving everybody, feeling real great because he slept with Beth.
He boinked.
Yeah, boinked Beth, apparently. He's talking like, oh, man, it was great. Oh,
and everyone, of course, doesn't believe him, which... Again, that's why I'm like, how did he heel turn so quick? If he heel turned and no one believed when he's
exactly.
like, because especially Sean Scott, he kept saying, "Hey, sleep with Beth. Hey, sleep with Beth. Hey, sleep with Beth." So Josh finally goes, "Hey, I slept with Beth twice last night and once this morning."
Yeah, and he's
which
like,
they joke about.
Yeah,
and they're like, "No, you didn't." And of course, he's like, "Yeah," and looks over at the TV.
Yeah.
And everyone suddenly is like, "Oh,
yeah, oh, he recorded it. Let's watch it." This is the closest stuff to first
this was
problematic thing. Him willing to have them watch it. But again, it was two consenting people they both consented to them being recorded. She doesn't have consent of them showing them the tape, of course.
Yeah, I will say the only.
But also, how did the tape get there? Now I'm confused again.
Yeah.
If they slept together the other night and she recorded the videotape wherever that was.
They were in his room.
But then where the hell are they now?
They're back in his room.
So where the hell is he coming from?
I'm wondering if he walked her back to her room or something, maybe?
He's coming from class.
Oh, he's coming
but
from
he
class.
was so hype and happy coming back to that room. I figured that he was not in that room before. It's very confusing.
There was a lot of nebulous.
Very confusingly framed.
Listen, the timeline was not 100% solid. So, and again, it was. Yeah, I agree. He's there. I will say though, he wasn't like, "Oh, hey, everyone, let's watch this."
He's trying to stop them.
They were like, right? He's trying to stop them.
Like, come on, we're going to do it. We're going to watch it regardless. So,
and so when he kind of saw that, he's like, he kind of, again, coerced into relenting, but he's like, "You tell nobody. No one else will know about this kind of thing." So it was like as problematic as it was. At least there was
him trying to stop them.
There was moments of he tried to protect. He tried to be good.
Yeah.
And the best he could, and sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah, but then
this film does not seem like it was made in 2000. I swear to God.
It's very
until he realizes that the tape is missing because he puts in a different tape.
Tapes at all.
You know this is 2000 because he spills out all over the floor Blockbuster videotapes.
Oh,
I saw that, and I had my own flashback. Because, if I mentioned it, I worked for Blockbuster in the dying years. I liquidated 2 stores. I closed a store with a week's notice. Could have stayed in every store in Cleveland if I wanted to. Yeah. So yeah, the Blockbuster video gives you the year, as well as the fact that again the whole plot does not exist with cell phones.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, because it wouldn't have been recorded on a goddamn videotape that's mailed to somebody in the mail.
Yep.
Another insane thing.
Which again, so right after he finds out through this that the tape has been sent off
after boner time, which we forgot to mention that these are good boner time. It was a very funny line from Sean William Scott.
That's right. Which listen, maybe I'm telling myself here. I don't ever want to watch porn with
friends.
Yeah,
yeah. It's
like
let's not say from experience or not, but yeah, Ed, it is weird. It is weird to do that, isn't it? Anyway, let's go on with the scene. I'm glad that you think it's weird, Ed. No context for that comment. Now, I'm
trying to think. Am I contradicting myself?
No, not you. This is nothing to do with you, and it is weird.
You say that, and I keep thinking it's about me.
It's not.
I'm having main character syndrome right now.
Yeah, exactly. Now, anyway.
I might know who. Is he alive, or yes or no?
Yes, he is alive.
Is he in China?
No, he's not in China.
Dwayne?
No.
He's
really trying to get specific. He's like he's gone through 3 different friends. Of course we're recording. He's gone through 3 different friends of ours, and I said, and none of them know. Anyway,
stop saying real human names of people you know.
There's a million.
We have to meet DJ Qualls.
There's a million Lees. Chai Lee. There's a million Lees.
Too many personal identifications.
I
worked at Blockbuster in the years they were dying in Cleveland, Ohio.
I worked at every Blockbuster Blockbuster in Cleveland. Everyone who went to a Blockbuster between 2008 and 2012 has seen me once in their lifetime.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, they meet DJ Qualls. So
hold on. Before that, you talked why they go on the road trip is because Tiffany finally calls.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the.
We got onto a little tangent. There.
Yeah.
Stoner
sent the wrong tape.
And then immediately after that revelation, Tiffany calls. Okay, and this is another point where I get annoyed. So she even outside of the dating thing, she and Josh have again best friends since they were 2. So they've known each other, best friends, 50 years.
Yeah.
So they have very the family dynamics are. I guarantee you, they know each other's extended families.
Of course.
Her grandfather passed away.
He should know.
He should know.
Yeah.
You can't even tell him. Even before it happens, I don't want to leave this message on your phone. Say on the phone, on the voicemail, hey, something sad happened. I want to tell you in person. I'm going to be out of town for a bit. I don't want to go into full details over a message. I want to talk to you and tell you.
Yeah.
I will call you when I'm back. Again, I know, plot. But they're like...
he knows now. And he says, I got to get the tape before she gets there. Now we have a ticking clock.
I definitely think then, knowing what we know about the end of the movie, I think she didn't call for a reason.
Because she's ready to break up with him.
Yeah. Okay, spoiler alert, but yes.
Yeah, we meet DJ Qualls.
Yes. And he is tall.
Holy
fuck.
He's like lanky. Yeah, he's like really tall and lanky. Yeah, he's a weird dude.
For a dude as like thin and lanky as you don't realize it for so many scenes. When you first meet him, the motherfucker is tall.
Yeah. I completely never knew why the hell they invited him. I guess they just need his car.
That's why.
Then they take off from the university to Austin, Texas, Boston, Texas, as they tell Tom Green, because he's staying behind to feed the snake and everything like that.
Yes. Which, again, I definitely think that the only thing that helped keep... Again, I saw this after Freddy got fingered.
Yeah.
So I think that the only reason that I was enjoying... I mean, obviously Tom Green is amazing, but I was okay with him being in this movie a lot less and not part of the main group is because we have the course correction that is Freddy got fingered.
Yeah.
Whereas in the entirety of Freddy got fingered...
Best movie ever.
Okay, you delayed that one on purpose.
Okay.
So, okay, all right. So this is actually speaking of Tom Green, and my amazing I love her to death wife. So this is the point where they take off, and it cuts back to Tom Green at the tour.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they went off. The end. So. Are you going to come tell it? Okay, she's going to want me to make sure I say it right. So she pointed this out, and it definitely is worth, pondering the insanity that happens after this point where the road trip is now officially started.
Yeah.
Tom Green wasn't on it, but he gives very many details. And yes, there are things that are definitely are factual.
Yeah.
But how much of that actually happened, and how much is that him embellishing the story?
100%. Yes, that'd be very perfect.
So honestly, I want him. I almost feel like this movie needs to get remade with him doing another tour. Again, 25 years later, he's still in college giving the tour.
For 30 years. Yeah,
and he tells the story, and things are like it's kind of like that. I fought off a badger. I fought off, turns eventually into I fought off 12 Wolverines, while guarding two, like the Scorcher films in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like more and more babies from a crazier thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's just telling this insane stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah,
Tom Green, get a hold of us. We'll help you write it because I'm sure you don't need much help, but.
Yeah,
we're the extra writers that are needed.
Yeah, we'll have a little, what's it called? Plus up the story. We'll do some punch up on it.
Exactly.
So they're driving around in the car and saying, so I don't even know why you're bothering doing this. It's not cheating. They're in different area codes, so it's not cheating anymore, and different states.
Is that
And
a thing that happened around that time?
What, this weird this weird thing about like not
The area codes?
It probably, yeah. The hoes in different area codes.
Because that does come back in this movie.
Of course, it's very funny. Yeah,
straight up.
But yeah, I think maybe it's just like joking the aughts or whatever.
Yeah.
Kyle talks about putting peanut butter on his balls and having his dog look
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Everyone's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you, Kyle?"
There's definitely though a moment where I'm like, oh, here's one of the 2000s showing. You know, if you're wasted, it's not cheating because you can't barely remember it. I'm like,
That's not great.
That's a 2000s line right there. That was one of those moments. Again, I feel like they're worth pointing out.
Yeah, but also
there's so few of them.
But also they're saying this stuff, and it's supposed to be like ironically, like they're wrong and being stupid. But
That's
that's also half the joke.
Fair,
But
very fair.
Yeah, but like while they're doing that, they cut back finally to Tom Green with the mouse.
Yes.
Like, you're gonna die. Burp. Drinking my beer and my energy drink at the same time. He's like, "You're gonna die on Sunday or Saturday, whatever the weekend
Saturday.
is." Yeah, Saturday, and they're like mocking the rat, and he like, picks it up, he's like playing with it, like, "It looks so tasty." Ooh, and he's like dangling it over his mouth.
I'm surprised I got away with that.
I'm not surprised.
That was a live mouse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And this was, again, Tom Green, being Tom Green is Tom Green.
Well,
but this was not the Tom Green show.
Yeah, he already humped the dead moose on TV. So
You know, I'm wondering then, did they film his scenes for this as part of the Tom Green show? And maybe that's how the movie got written?
Yeah,
As they said, this won't work on its own. Write a movie around it. And, you know, we'll shoot the other stuff when I'm in the beginning.
Perfect.
You know.
But yeah.
I think we just figured out how this movie got made.
Of course, we got.
Take that! Paul Scheer.
Yeah, we do that.
Jason Mantzoukas,
You guys are
clearly
great.
listening to us.
Yeah, of course. We're more popular, of course we are. But yeah, he's like dangling the mouse over his mouth, and then like she's like, Beth comes in looking for him, saying, "Hey, where is he? Oh, I went to go see his girlfriend in Boston.
No,
Texas.
he says Austin, Massachusetts.
Austin, Massachusetts.
And she says, "Do you mean Boston?"
And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I said. Boston, Massachusetts."
I genuinely think that was one of the best writing choices of this film, though.
You know, if that was like an actual like fuck up on his part, and he's like made that the actual plot thing, that'd be very, very funny because this Beth's whole plot line is based on him being an idiot.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of problems with Beth and overall, but I feel like that was one of those scenes where like if they had to keep her, if the point was of the whole Boston trip was to keep Beth relevant and shown in the film in a way, this was a good way to do it without her being the naggy girl going after the, annoyingly after the guy in a way.
Yeah, it's very funny.
That was amazing. I love that. Also, the next scene is the topless bathroom conversation scene.
Yeah, and this is one of the scenes where they're like, "Tom Green, you're an idiot for your lying." Like, girls still stand around topless. Like, yeah, they do. And so they're standing around. This other girl comes up, totally hot. She's really hot. She's also
Again, I feel like this is a great way of blending, especially it's a 2000s scene for sure, but it's a way to blend the humor, and it's not another teen movie style, satirical
funny,
thing.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure they had the exact same, like, not even changed at all for not another teen movie of people just standing around naked.
So, but yeah, I thought I loved that joke. And that's also too like a joke that, again, because they framed it well, it worked in the context of the film and didn't feel out of place.
Yeah. Next is the scene where they go to the store.
Before that, one thing I did notice in the background is one of those girls had a very noticeable tan line.
Oh, yeah. And also there's a bunch of, top and bottom nudity. Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
right in the movie.
That's just what it is. I just noticed the tan line. I mean, it was like,
That's also
honestly,
very
that's the only thing I can tell you is that the tan line, I mean, she went from, like, being, like, dark to, like, pasty.
Yeah.
Like,
that's another thing from the odds. Another holdover.
It was a farmer's tan.
Farmer's tan. Oh, God. The fucking credit card scene at the store where they're just maxing out the credit card, buying a bunch of goofy shit like glasses and snacks and shit for the road, using DJ Qual's dad's credit card.
That was another weird scene. Yeah, which, thinking about it, I realized it's only because they needed the dad in the movie.
To be involved in the story? Probably, yeah.
So, I will say, I'm glad they embraced him, because some of the early Kyle scenes in the group were rough.
Yeah.
They were, there was still some later on, but they were pretty mean to him early on.
Well, yeah, they're just treating him shittily because he's, like, not barely part of the group.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad they erased him. And then yeah, so they take the shortcut, quote unquote, and it ends up being a dilapidated bridge.
Yeah, they like, oh, so at least I can spin across it, and then he spins and it like breaks the other half of the bridge down. Okay, we'll go a little faster. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was though. So that Ruben, the Fro friend, his whole thing is he's supposed to be smart.
He's a smart one of the group, and then
right.
But he's also the
he was wrong. There were 4 of them.
Yeah,
he said the car weighed 1,600 pounds, and including them would be 2,100 pounds. So you're telling me that 4 college-age guys were 500 pounds? I get that Kyle was thinner, but no. Even if he at the low end was 100, everyone else was easily more so than that. They were not all 125.
Yeah,
they were probably 175 to 200.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
And just because they were stereotypical, 2000s white guy appearance, I guarantee you they were not 500 pounds, the 4 of them. Also, I don't think that 500 pounds he forgot to also include all that shit that they then bought at Target. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, we also know
his math was wrong, and that bothered me.
Well, you're wrong, because it worked. They took it across the bridge at 70 miles an hour. Or did they say 80 at that point?
65 or 75.
They said first 60 or 70, and then they put it up more, and then when it broke, they set up more. Okay, we'll go a little faster, just to be safe. We'll do 85 just to be safe.
Kyle, by the way, had a helmet on before the
it was
jump.
very funny.
Where did he get that helmet?
I don't know. Maybe
is that just in his car?
Yeah, he just bought it from the store, possibly.
He did not buy it from the store. I guarantee he didn't buy it from the store because he's not going to buy extra stuff.
Yeah,
he's not going to buy a helmet. He never would have wanted to jump. So where did he get the helmet?
Who knows?
The math was wrong, and the helmet came out of nowhere.
0 out of 10.
And the tan line and the small boobs.
Yeah, of course. We're already at 2 hours 5 minutes. Bridge jump scene, the car crashes. I thought it was fucked up before they got out of the car. It's like, oh, it's fine. I was like, that car's not gonna fucking drive anywhere. And then of course it also blows up.
Yeah, which that whole scene is again great comedic timing.
Yeah,
that is a scene funny. Made by great comedy.
Yeah, very funny.
It crashes and you think, oh yeah, we made it, and then kabloop, and then of course they spend time looking at it and start walking, and it's like it'll be fine. We'll get it towed. Kaboom! Yeah, it's just it worked.
Very funny.
So very well.
The next thing, they go to the motel.
You did forget. How did you forget about the Beth bus scene? The Beth bus scene to Boston.
The bus.
The Beth scene to Boston with the black woman.
Yeah, with the dildo. With the vibrator. Yeah.
So that again, it was a weird scene to have.
Random
as
scene.
fuck.
I think it's just so you remember she's in the movie, I think.
But I kind of, at the same point, I think that it worked.
It was funny.
It was very funny, and it also, I think...
It's practically a cutaway gag, but yeah.
It very much was. But it also, I feel like, as issue-filled as Beth was for me in the film, seems like that at least gave her a growth, like, it gave her outside influences for her then to take in, absorb, and or act on and grow.
How shitty people are. Yeah.
So,
then yes, motel. Motel. Andy Dick being very, very funny.
So, he's a piece of shit, by the way, isn't he?
Oh, of course he is. Yes.
So hear that, Andy Dick, who I know is listening, which is our running gag of the episode. You're an asshole. You are a dick, Andy.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Nice. Fun again. Very, very funny scene still. Their card is out, and the guys are looking for this is the other character trait that obviously Ruben has is that he's a stoner. I feel like they're all fucking stoners. I feel like they should be because like latest I'm like, how are they not fucking stoners with their behavior?
Right? They all seem like they're cool with it, but he's meant to be apparently more into it at this point, especially.
But Andy Dick's very funny in the scene talking about like, hey, also your credit card's maxed out before you start spending it on guns and drugs. You should make sure so you know that, you idiots.
So what a plot point. Cut to
Kyle's dad,
the male Karen.
Yeah. Fred Ward, an amazingly funny actor from Tremors and what the hell is that weird shitty movie? Fucking funny ass name. Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Yeah. A very great actor in a ton of stuff. I know mostly from Tremors, the series. He's very fucking funny in those. But Fred Ward is the dad. He's at a diner with his wife, and they're trying to eat, and they try to run the credit card, and of course it does not run because it's been fucking maxed out.
Which they have the same credit. They have the same account.
It's the same. I assume that it's a card. It's the dad's card that he gave to Kyle for college, just for emergencies. Remember? That's what
I mean,
it's weird, but it happens. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, by the way, that and Leanne will correct me, I'm sure if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that the waiter was Kripke in The Big Bang Theory. I know you never watched the show, which is surprising because I remember you go like 1 or 2 episodes at the beginning and you were just you could not wait to dive into that series.
Oh boy,
like crazy.
Wait.
Funny gags from the 2010s that everyone's gonna totally get.
Yeah, of course. Next is the scene where he goes to steal a bus from the handicap bus place.
Wow. Okay, he's like, I'll be right back because you go to the diner.
Like, we don't have a car anymore. Like, we don't have any money, and we don't have a car. And he's like, "Oh, I'll be right back. Don't worry." And he forms his plan, knows to go there to get a bus, and then knows it'll work.
Like, is that it had to be like easily like right there?
Yeah.
Did they walk by it and whatever? Like, how the hell did he know about that school for the blind?
Yeah, insane.
Good jokes in
what's
it, though.
School for the blind, or was it a school like just like a regular?
It was a school for the blind.
Like a regular, either like handicap bus or like.
No, it was a school for the blind specifically.
Bus? I don't know.
Because that's what there was the joke. Was that the one was blind?
Yeah, and I remember the gag, which is very funny. Like,
don't roll your eyes at me.
Yeah, it's just like what the hell. Like, he's the service dog. Don't feed him snacks like that. It's just like very funny. It's like I didn't. I guess you did. That was really funny. That was a potentially problematic but a very funny gag still. Yeah.
See, I feel like that was a joke that it worked because it was yes, she was they initially played off of she can't see anything and all that and got duped, but then also like, oh no, maybe she does just seem to have better perception than everything. That was funny, and it didn't feel like it was at her expense.
And also it was just like saying fuck you to what's his stuff for Sean William Scott being an asshole again, which is very funny.
Right, and again too, even at the end, she gives him the finger.
Yeah, he's like,
so
okay,
clearly he didn't just get. He got away with it, but he didn't just get away with it.
Very funny scene still. But then like, okay, they're driving. He's like, oh man, I forgot my fucking books for the test. They were in the car when they exploded, and it's like, oh yeah, very funny, Josh. We know we're sorry about the car thing. What does this say?
Oh, you forgot about the diner scene.
Oh no, yeah. Now after they're on the bus and they talk about the books being destroyed. This is when the diner shit happens, and this is
that scene's before it.
No, I have books. The books in the car is after. Them talking about the books being destroyed is after the diner scene, which happens now.
They did the blind because John Williams goes gets the bus and he left them at the diner. And he picks them up from the diner in the bus. Mm-hmm. So, the French toast scene.
Yeah. This is Horatio Sands from SNL. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Which, he looks like Dan Schneider. Does he not? He looks like a young Dan Schneider.
Vaguely, I guess. Horatio Sands is, he's just a big, funny dude.
I thought it was Dan Schneider at first.
Really? That'd be insane.
So, I'll throw that one out. I thought he looked like
maybe.
it.
But yeah, this scene really stuck with me since I was a kid. And I, completely unironically, this is why I, to this day, me and my sister never ever complain about food at a restaurant. And I'm, not even exaggerating, 100% unironically. We never ever, send anything back. We never complained about bad service. We never complained about an order down the fix it. We were, always hesitant because of this specific scene. Literally my entire life. Even I know it's a gag, it's so serious in my brain of you don't fucking don't be an annoying customer. And then growing up and being in the food industry, I'm like, fucking don't be an annoying customer. It sucks for the workers, but then also no, fuck you.
See, you've been working more on food than ever I have.
Yeah.
But I felt like Kaya was genuinely hey, I had ordered this.
Yeah, he's being normal, and the guy was being an asshole.
He was trying to be as nice as he could about it.
Yeah, literally, my takeaway was don't be annoying, but Kyle was not being annoying. He was just being hey, I didn't want any sugar on this. It could have been an allergy or any kind of number of issues with it. But yeah, and then what the guy does is insanely hilarious and ridiculous and gross.
Apparently, Leanne told me this. I gotta give her credit, of course. Was that because in films when they do after they eat things. Yeah. Every time they do multiple takes on it, they have to eat the same amount. Yeah. So if you ever see an actor taking small bites, it's because they know they have to they eat or drink the same amount of things every time. Apparently, that actor can never eat French toast because of this scene. Because he had to eat it 30 times.
Yeah.
And he had some big bites.
Yeah, but he had a whole bunch in his mouth. Typically, it'll be I know they have sometimes they have spit buckets and stuff for sometimes on sets, but maybe this didn't have that this time. Yeah. But it's very very funny of him eating all that French toast and being grossed out by it. But it's a very funny scene. And like I said, it's drilled into my brain permanently. This is the next scene is when he calls to ask while they're eating at the diner. He calls and asks for the extension on the test. And this is when what the fuck is his name? The evil guy.
Oh
Jacob,
yeah, here's the black accent.
does the black accent with his weird deep voice teacher. He's like, oh yeah, certainly you can have an extension, and then like he hangs up, and then the teacher's like, hey, what was that? He's like, she's still doing the voice, which is like a little minor gag. He's like, oh, that's just he was just saying he's looking forward to the exam coming up.
Yep. Which before we get going, I had so they leave between that the call and all that, and they leave the diner. They're driving the school bus there.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is how the fuck did they all learn how to just drive a school bus?
Yeah,
you cannot just drive a school bus without any training.
Yeah.
They all were driving.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just like a small half bus, but still,
it's still a school bus.
I had to do driving training for when I was working at Amazon. I had to train to drive the trucks and train do like a driving test for like the big ass trucks and how to maneuver and stuff like that. It's not easy. It's much harder than you think.
Yeah. So I just my dad was a bus driver for like 35 years.
Yeah,
so.
it's tough as shit. It's really tough.
Small bus, big bus. I mean, just in general, the driving itself of the bus, because buses themselves are not just regular cars.
Yeah.
So how do they all learn it? Also, I forget if they saw the car, because Kyle's dad they go to
the police scene is next. Yeah.
Oh, that's after. But that dad shows very much like shows how dangerous that aggressive, fear-based parenting is.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Kyle's whole manner, like, Kyle grows because he gets a chance to explore who he is, and you can see where the fear of his father affects who and how he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Pat Walsh, a funny comedy guy, is
that's
the first cop. Yeah.
I wrote Rob Hubel. I couldn't remember.
No. Pat Walsh is it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very funny. He's the first cop who says, like, I think someone was raped and murdered here. And he's like, what the hell do you say that for? Like, just a hunch. And then, like, the next guy, he's like, talks to the next cop. And he's just like, oh, well, we haven't found any semen yet, so it's a good sign.
I thought that was great.
That was funny. Oh, yeah, for an odds thing, like, even before it's like a major, like, CSI or those shows are like a major thing at that point, they're just starting. And they're already having, like, a fun gag about that in this movie. Which very, very
and again,
funny.
it was, you could argue, like, it was taking a problematic subject of the time and turning it into again, non-terrible.
A fun, gag, yeah.
Yeah. Also, though, how did the dad get access to that? They were
He's walking on the scene.
Did he happen to live in that Pennsylvania then, and live nearby that city?
Oh, I think after the card, did they call him after the card was declined?
I know that they said they found the car, but like, how close or far does Kyle's parents live?
They're also in New York, and they're not that. They mentioned at some point later, like, we're not even out of New York yet, or something like that. Like, they're not that far.
That was like the second day they were on, though.
Yeah.
But also, like, they must have really... No, it was like 5 hours. They're like, we'll lose 5 hours if we have to turn around at the bridge. Yeah. So where the fuck... They had to be in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
because there was Bedford, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, they were in Pennsylvania. So
if Dad lived in New York, how the hell did... Listen, I get that police stick together for better and worse, but you're telling me that the random police in Pennsylvania let a New York cop, especially one who's connected potentially to the case, get
walk on
access?
The scene? Of course, why not?
What?
Next is the Boston College scene where Beth goes to the Boston College and finds the Tiffany. Did she know her last name?
She did know her last name.
Yeah, okay, so it's the same named person at this other college.
What a coincidence that there happened to be.
She pulls her aside and tells this woman all about, like, I had sex with him twice, and then in the morning
I had sex with your boy. She said, I had sex with your boyfriend.
Yeah, she really could have been more specific.
Really could have.
But yeah, it's very funny.
Which, by the way, though, that actress who played the Boston Tiffany Henderson, was that Brittany Murphy?
No, it wasn't Brittany Murphy, but she was very familiar.
She looked very similar.
She was very familiar. She looked very similar to Brittany Murphy, but she looked familiar, but I didn't look her up.
Okay. I would say, good on her, though, because after she gets told that her boyfriend is cheating on her with this other woman, Boston Tiffany does not suddenly attack Beth. Yeah. Even though Beth does deserve it. But she goes after the boyfriend because she realizes that, A, she was being told by this other person, and B, that Beth was not the person in the relationship with her.
Yeah.
The person in the relationship with her...
I think she said that she didn't know at the time that he was in a relationship. She says that much at least. So, not the guy's name or anything, but she does say, like, hey, I didn't know. I just wanted you to know. I'm so sorry. I'm telling you what happened.
That's right. Yeah. So Josh was kind of like inferring that they had broken up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I again, that to me stood out Beth deserved to be the one taking the punishment, but Tiffany from Boston didn't, and I liked that.
Yeah,
because again, I gotta point it out because again, this does not feel like a 2000s film.
Yeah,
insane. I don't get it. I don't know how to.
The next scene is the bus scene again, where she's on the bus sleeping, and some guy tries to suck her toes. Very
Why
funny.
does that exist?
Very funny random. That might be Todd Phillips. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a very funny scene.
Why? Okay, well, why did that exist when Tom Green was right there to put in the film more often?
Yeah. Well, a good thing we get a Tom Green feeding scene. When he tries to feed the actual mouse. He's like, it's time to die, and he's like feeding the snake.
Oh, it's great.
And he tried to feed the snake, and the snake will not eat. And he's like, come on, we're doing, weren't you eating? Come on, eat.
So,
and like, yeah.
Tom Green's amazing, but going back to the film for a minute, are we supposed to like Beth? Are we supposed to want her and Josh together?
We're supposed to be rooting for them, yeah.
Because, I mean, like again, Tiffany from Boston took out her anger on the right person based on the information she was given, but Beth does not fix the situation.
No, she doesn't.
Beth just walks away after
I get beaten with a baseball bat. Yeah,
right. That's who got assaulted. Tiffany from Boston's life is gonna be completely upended.
Yeah.
If they're likely police charges, never is gonna have a very negative view. That could have been a relationship like Josh and Tiffany
very long, years
were supposed to like. They got ruined due to misinformation. And Beth never gets punished for it.
Nah, that's fine.
Oh, I guess she has her toes sucked.
Yeah.
I don't.
By a stranger on a bus.
Right. Like at this point, I'm like, I don't like Beth is not a good person to us at this point.
To like her. Yeah, it's very difficult.
And honestly, I'm wondering if there was some kind of rework or what, because she goes through a weird arc where she is the I'm gonna steal this guy away from his girlfriend into the I finally got him to the jealous that he lied to me, so I'm gonna punish him.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing the not so nice things. Like she goes through a weird arc of being you want to see her succeed, to you want to see her get punished, to you want to see her succeed. And also, she gets away with way too many things in this movie, including a felony, a terroristic felony. We'll get to it.
Yeah. I'm going to speed things along because we are at 2 hours and 20 minutes now.
We are at one of the better, I think, one of the most underrated scenes, though.
The Black Fraternity scene?
Yes.
This scene is insane. I'm looking, so they pull up to the thing, and Ruben says, okay, I know this fraternity, I'm going to see him from this other chapter. It's never explicitly explained.
How did he get the handshake?
Or is that other one of is the fraternity at the other one also a national black exclusive fraternity or not? It's not really clear. Yeah, it's very confusing.
I feel like if you go through the film's back setting, you might find something. But like this is kind of during the time where internet is not as big. So how did he get that handshake?
I assume that he knew. Like, I was like, okay, so is he actually part of this fraternity? Like I said, we don't know if it's a national black fraternity there as well at that college or what. I'm not sure. Because also, if he knew the fraternity and knew the fucking handshake, how would he not know that? Also, did he know and just not care? And that was the joke. Because the next scene he says, like, I don't think about things like that. That's not cool. I'm not racist or whatever. So it's like,
I mean, he was saying that.
Funny line.
He was saying that in the moment.
Sean Scott, who was just like, what the hell is the black fraternity? Why'd you lie and say you're part of it? And he's like, I don't think about things like that. That's rude. And it's just like it's a funny minor gag, but it's like, this is another weirdly not explained scene. And then, out of nowhere, they decide to just prank Kyle by threatening his life and saying that he's in the Klan with the Klan hood, which is an insane thing to say.
Again, though, I mean, this must happen a lot where white guys show up saying they're part of it. Because they had a Klan hood ready.
They had a whole thing ready. Yeah, I'm sure it's just
in the middle of dinner, they had...
Yeah, it's just hilarious, and it's not
even again,
Kyle just faints.
They were... Where were they at around?
Fucking fine now.
They hit Tennessee.
I didn't even track their thing at this point because I could not possibly.
I want to say if they weren't in Kentucky still, they were probably in Tennessee because when they hit the road after they spend the night there, and there's more to go on in a second. But they mentioned they're in Tennessee and they mentioned Graceland. So my headcanon that I'm just coming up with now is that they helped like actually out some actual dickhead Klan people, and as a prize took the Klan robes just to prank people with.
Probably, yeah. Oh yeah.
Or as like it's like a hey, we got rid of these guys,
yeah.
And then they're like, hey, let's prank these guys with our our victor spoils to show what happens, kind of thing.
Fun party scene of them partying with the Black College. It's very cool. Then Kyle sleeps with I forgot, I did not know the girl's name. Rhonda. Yeah.
I the whole fraternity scene I loved because again it's a moment where you have uncomfortable, moments when they first, it's like, oh, it's an all-black fraternity, and then the prank, and then it's like, oh, they're just fucking with us, and they're 1,000% just let these, these random guys, whether they're lying or not, what the guys is or isn't, they are all welcome, and they are, and Kyle up there,
hanging out,
hard drunk.
Looks up with the girl there. It's like he actually gets.
But he gets on stage, is doing goofy things, and instead of laughing at him, they're like, "Hey, no, keep going. You got the stage and own it." And it was so wonderful and charming. The one negative is the way they tipped the chair.
The bench, that was very ridiculous. Yeah,
and it's hard to tell if it's the she's that big joke or he's that scrawny joke.
I think that's the point with both of them. Yeah, making fun of both of them.
I feel like they could have done it a little better nowadays.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was not a great. Yeah, that was one of the
they were
low point of the movie was that gag.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next morning he's like fucking cool as shit.
I love the two of them together.
It's very fun. Yeah, they have a very cute scene because it's more romantic than Beth and Josh or anything else.
It was so tasteful.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like passionate and it was romantic and it was also he was nervous but wanted to, and she was encouraging and welcoming. I was so good. Mm-hmm. Like. We need a spin-off of these two. Like
follow their further adventures, sure.
It's been what, 30? It's been almost 25 some years.
25, yeah, 24.
We need the spin-off where they, of course, stay together.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: they do hook back up together.
Yeah.
They need to be back together and living a life, and that's the sitcom. Is this the two of them living a charming life?
Yeah,
and it's a spot of just pure wonderful joy in our crazy fucked up universe.
Yeah.
I need the Kyle and Rhonda show. Make it happen.
Anyway, sperm donation scene now. There's a funny gag that I like at the beginning. We're like, okay, so if any of you smoked marijuana in the last 24 hours, and then the guys are just like, Ruby just sits down, like, okay. And then, okay, if any of you guys had sex in the last 24 hours, and then Kyle's like, well, I guess I'm out, because I had sex with the girl. And she's like, that's nice, great. And then
also, I don't think selling sperm is that easy.
It's not. I'm sure it's not. There's a lot of fucking background checks, fucking all kinds of testing, and like all kinds of shit you need to do. That'd be like a whole day and a half of their like shit, I'm sure.
Exactly. Because listen, if that was that easy, then there would be no gentleman who ever had money problems again.
Of course, yeah. But I remember that's another aughts like joke or meme or whatever of like selling sperm for money. While they're like, the fucking Sean William Scott gets his prostate milked.
Yes. So this scene is where this character goes from being like, a good guy to being a really great character, in my opinion. Because again, he easily could have pulled the Peter Griffin, oh my god, nowhere. But he is, he goes to put the moves on the nurse, and seemingly, she's like, okay, sure, and then you find out what's gonna happen, and it starts going on.
Yeah.
He's down for it. He's like, his reaction afterwards is, ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I did not think I would like this.
Yeah.
And then again, it pays off because he explores this, further, and in a film in the 2000s dealing with male anal play.
Yeah, very funny scene.
And again, he's also never like, oh, am I actually gay or anything like that. I mean, he's clearly straight, but
thing.
Open with his sexuality in a way that 2000s films are not.
Yeah, it's very, very progressively funny.
Especially because I know I'm sure you go the same way. Like growing up, that's gay is how we used to was a negative thing.
Yeah, it was very bad, and that's very funny.
I'm still trying to fix it sometimes in my mind.
Of course, yeah.
Fucked up.
While they're explaining,
fuck you, early 2000s.
Yeah, you were shitty.
Good job, Sean William Scott in 2000.
Yeah,
film Roadtrip.
Whoever wrote the scene for that. While they're explaining that, the mom and the tour asks, like, Tom Green, is that real? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's definitely real. He's, like, flirting with her. And he's like, anyway, back to the story. Back to Tom Green trying to feed the mouse. He says, feeding attempt number 3. He pulls the live mouse. He says, come on, you have to eat the mouse. It's so delicious. I might eat the mouse. And he's actually putting it in his own mouth. And he's like, because playing with a live mouse in his mouth. This is when Beth comes in like, you idiot. Like, what the hell? He didn't go to Boston.
Yeah, but she
like,
blamed him.
Boston. I said Austin.
He's like, that's what I said. She's like, got mad at it. It's like, you just ruined a relationship. No, Beth. You ruined that relationship. He might have been wrong about the location. Mm-hmm. You still ruined that relationship because, in theory, you wanted that to happen with 2 different people.
Yeah.
You just got the wrong 2 people.
Yeah,
but that was the outcome you wanted.
Yeah.
She was fine watching until she realized that was the wrong guy.
Yeah.
That was the only time. So yeah, Beth, you don't blame Tom Green for that.
Yeah, let him feed the mouse.
You did exactly. Also, he was in that room the entire time, and Beth was able to, again, like a day after he had left, find out where they were going, take a bus, a non-controlled form of travel, to Boston, do the whole situation, get on another bus back, and meet back up with him. A, he was in the same spot, and B, the other guys had barely made it like a half a state away.
Yeah, they barely got anywhere.
I don't care if Boston and Ithaca are only an hour away. Yeah. You don't get on a bus for an hour drive with anything less than a 3 to 4 hour long-term trip.
Yeah, it's an insane.
And it was nighttime.
Yeah.
It was nighttime when she was traveling, so it had to have been a few hours. And she was able to make it from Ithaca, New York, to Boston, Massachusetts, back to Ithaca, New York, before the guys driving their own vehicle of their own power could make it a state.
Yeah.
What?
Well, their distance of traveling is absolutely insane, though. He tells her it doesn't matter. Josh loves you, and he's going there to break up with her. And this is when PA Jacob comes in finally and says, like, hey, speaking of Josh, I told him that there's an extension, and he's an idiot. And she's like, oh my God, you're such an asshole. And he's like, yo, who cares? He's going to flunk out of college. And then
she was like creepy to her too.
Yeah, while he's being a creep and like just doing all that, Tom Green dangling the mouse and just like completely not paying attention, and the snake just bites his hand. Yeah, and he starts screaming and swinging around. Everyone's yelling in the office, or everyone's yelling in the door, and he just like swinging the snake around, like smashing it on things, just like real Tom Green goofiness.
Until he chucks it at Jacob and bites him in his neck.
Yeah, just wraps around him, and it's just that's very funny.
That was again the great payoff. That was such a good payoff.
Very, very
Fuck
funny.
That guy. He deserved to have a snake at him. And of course the mouse survived.
Yeah. Of course the snake's perfectly fine after that. But also it's like a very funny, obvious puppet, and then when it's on him again, it's a normal snake. It's very goofy.
That was such a good payoff.
Yeah. The I Wanna Rock scene, with that, like, put that song in my head forever, that little
that bus is okay. Maybe I'm getting too much into the realism of things, but I'm pretty sure that buses don't have sound systems that great. You don't have a way to listen to the radio, and you don't have a way to play cassette tapes, because that's what they had in the 2000s. Mm-hmm. CDs are not CD players and cars. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a radio. Oh. Why would a bus have a radio like that? Like a regular kind of radio like that.
We listened to music in the bus when we were in school, I think.
Not that I remember.
I feel like that happened at least once or twice.
Maybe I was just too busy talking to the bus drivers because I do them all.
Call your dad right now and ask.
He's retired. It's 10 o'clock.
Probably,
He's asleep.
It's 9:50, so he's asleep. We go to the Barry's grandparents' house now, which is very another out of nowhere ass scene where they find out that Barry's last name is Manilow, which is a gag that I still remembered forever before I even knew who Barry Manilow was. So I was like, oh yeah, this is a goofy scene.
Though he mentioned, because Tom Green narrates, that I set them up with my grandparents. He's like, I set their dog on fire when I was 6, and I have not been invited back. But he has enough pull with his grandparents to have 4 strangers show up and be welcome there for the night. Mm-hmm. But they won't welcome back him?
Yeah, that sounds about right. That makes sense. With this weird boner grandpa. He stands up. He's watching some kind of like weird MTV booty video where he's like, hey, the kids are here. Like, he stands up, he has a big old boner. He's like, oh my God, hide that thing. He's like, what do you want me to do with it? Cut it off? Anyway, come on, kids. This is when we cut to Andy Dick also watching the same program.
By the way, so the grandma, by the way, is the one from Wedding Singer.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
That grandfather, he looked familiar.
He looks exactly like Johnny Knoxville in old man makeup. I was like,
That's where.
Yeah, I was like bad grandpa. I'm like, is this fucking Johnny Knoxville in old man makeup? I cannot tell.
That's my new headcanon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Andy Dick's watching it, but then the dad, Kyle's dad, comes in.
Wearing a bolero, by the way. He was wearing a bolero.
He smashes his hand down and says, like, "Where's my son? Where'd he go? He was kidnapped." And
well deserved, by the way. Fuck you, Andy Dick.
Yeah, Andy Dick being an asshole is very funny. He's like, "I can't reach the thing where they went," and he like, did they have like, what did he have up there that they knew where they were going?
Phone calls to Austin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which they figured out from Austin, Texas, was Austin College.
Yeah, I assume that the calls were directly to the college, so they knew that's where they're going.
Maybe they didn't say Austin College. I can't remember.
I don't know. But yeah, we get a little bit more character back with the gang.
Ruben has weed again.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey,
when
man,
did he
I
buy
feel
it?
like I need a purpose." He got it from some, probably maybe got Black College, I assume. He's like hanging out with the group. He's like, "Man, I feel like I need a glorious purpose. I need something. I do something important." And Grandpa's like, "Are you gonna fucking give me that weed or shut the fuck up? You have too much brains and not enough balls." I'm like, I guess that's supposed to be his character arc. I don't know. It's out of nowhere, not really earned.
He had no character arc.
No, he didn't. He didn't really need one, I don't think, personally.
But they try to give him one. That's the problem.
It's very
like
good.
Stifler's character, grows, in his weird ways. Kyle had obviously the biggest growth overall, and Josh, honestly, was even too like. Each of them had a point. They said Kyle. Kyle was the nerdy guy who gets confidence throughout the trip. Sean William Scott's character was the, again, he was a non-toxic dude, but he was still a bit of a douche here and there who grew better as a person and bonded with his friends and everything. And then Josh was typical main character, trying to save something, do something for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
But Ruben had no point. He had a few plot moments, and that was it.
This is them trying to give him something to do there in the movie, which is like saying, "I gotta do something. I gotta have a glorious purpose." And they're like, "Whatever, man, shut up." But Grandpa sees the dog talking to him. I got the munchies, and like, oh, it's like, whoa, fucking early aughts bad weed humor. That makes no sense because like,
no, that must have been some good ass weed.
Yeah, I know.
He was still feeling that the next day.
Jesus Christ. Then this is when we see Beth getting the tape. We see her actually getting the tape. Like, oh, she was with all of her friends. Tiffany, God, I can't remember the part. So. But yeah, she gets the tape. And she's like excited and like, oh, come on, let's watch this tape my boyfriend sent me. They put it in and he did just tape. She's like, oh my God, and she like vomits and throws up. And then it's another dream.
I seriously. Beth
has no actual screen time. Yeah,
Beth had more screen time. I feel like they gave Tiffany almost no screen time at all.
I think it's supposed to, so we're not attached to her and we're supposed to care about Beth more.
Yeah, that's literally what I wrote down. Was that they had to remove her from reality because she wasn't even she was shown more in fake out scenes than in real scenes.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I 1,000% agree that was their way of making us try to like Beth.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Dog's talking to the guy again in the morning when they're on their way to the next part. He's like, tell that bitch to make me some blueberry pancakes. And he's like, whoa, I'm an old man with a boner and high right now. Very silly humor. They finally get to the college. Yay. Yes.
And of course, we get the
receptionist won't give them their thing.
Of course, this is how you can tell. Again, this is how you can tell it's a 2000s film. The website is www.
Oh yeah,
Star Wars. Episode 2 spoilers.
Is the episode 2 spoilers?
Episode 2 spoilers.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which again, this is where the reality. Was anyone actually as excited for episode 2 after episode 1?
Probably not, no. But they're ready to yell. I'm sure he's on there complaining about it. I'm sure he's complaining now 30 years later. 25 years later, he's like, it still sucks. Remember, it was so great back then. Those prequels were the best ever. Now it's bad.
Yeah, which pissed someone off, didn't we?
Of course. It's very funny.
Does that mean there's going to be some generation that thinks that Rise of Skywalker is good?
Of course it does. What are you talking about?
If you're listening to this and you think Rise of Skywalker is good, fuck you.
Hey, I said it's my favorite of the sequels because it's so insanely bad and stupid.
Yes!
It's high up on my list. I told you. It's no Attack of the Clones.
Yeah!
It's not, boring-ass first one. Whatever.
The Last Jedi is cinematic gold that got completely fucked over because of a bunch of neckbeard dick shits.
Yeah.
And fucking J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
And it's fucking fan service bullshit.
They're all not as good as...
God damn it, that movie.
Solo and Rogue One are fucking the best, I think.
Okay, we're about to talk about episode 9 now.
Well, fucking hell. I'll talk about the Acolytes, fucking what everyone wants from Star Wars, and you should be watching it because everyone's been complaining, and it's fucking fantastic.
Then I know I'll like it, because people who complain about things in Star Wars are a bunch of dumb fucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you complain about shit in Star Wars that's not Rise of Skywalker, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong, and I'm talking to you.
How dare you?
Straight to you, and you know who you are. That's right.
You
aren't invited to the podcast.
Yeah, you're not invited. He won't give
Unless
you
you're Tom Green, then you're always invited.
Yeah, of course, you're the best.
And I will take back every statement I just had.
Scott, of course, and everybody else we've invited so far.
Yes.
Yes.
If you were invited,
Paul Scheer, everybody else we invited so far in this episode.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, you're everyone who's invited.
Yes, I will take my statements back for you guys, but not you. Not you. You know who you are. Not you.
Yeah. The receptionist won't let them have the thing. They keep trying to be annoyed to him, and he's just like, "Get the fuck out of here, you guys!" And then DJ
who
calls,
was that dude, by the way?
He seemed vaguely familiar to me. He's just the receptionist to the thing.
Okay, I literally wrote that he looked familiar.
Yeah, probably for this movie I recognize. Honestly, I don't know. Then DJ Qualls tries to stand up to him. He's just like, "Listen to me, you," and then he just gets fucking punched in the face.
And then the dude jumps over, takes his shirt off, and is a wrestler.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're a wrestler."
But he's doing a punch first?
Yeah, like why not? I don't know. But also, he's not doing he's like doing fucking WWE, not actual like Greco-Roman college wrestling at all. He's doing fucking WWE moves. It's out of nowhere.
Yep.
The guys all get their asses beat. Of course, it's very, very funny. But as they're doing that, the security shows up with some mace, and it's everybody freeze.
These guys,
this is mace.
This was a great scene.
Yeah, the another person who we regularly recommend, that actor who is the security guard, he's a huge comedy actor. He's been in a ton of movies. I don't know looking up his name or what I know him from, but he's a big guy who I definitely recognize from a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
very specifically.
And I think what made the joke even better was because the security comes in, they're pulling the mace. It's it's a guy with mace. Then Kyle's dad shows up.
He's like, "Kyle, what are you doing? I thought you were kidnapped."
And they're like, stirs it down. He pulls out a gun.
Yeah, he pulls out a big
and
ass
he
gun.
points that thing like, this is a guy who's supposed to be a police officer.
We're assuming. I don't know if he is a police officer.
He's got some connection to the police.
Obviously, yes.
And is in a college. Again, this is how you can tell this is before 9/11.
Of course.
Dude shows up waving a gun around.
Yeah.
A college campus.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. They say, "Well, what the hell happened to the car? The car was it was stolen." I was like, "Oh yeah, the car was stolen, and they destroyed the car. Yeah, it's insane."
They took the credit card too.
Yeah, they took the credit card, and that's why that's happened. And I'm like, I was thinking like, "Oh, cool." They actually wrapped up all that cool stuff. And then Tiffany, walks in like, "What the hell's going on?" And he gets the gun pointed at her. And everyone's just like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "What the hell's going on in this goddamn movie anymore?"
I mean.
Yeah, and then finally Kyle stands up to his dad, even after they cleared the air. He's still pissed and tells him like, "Hey, this is why I don't tell you anything because I know you get mad and you're going to ruin everything for us."
Yes, I love this. Was satisfying. This was a satisfying moment because you saw Kyle stand up to his dad and take charge.
Yeah,
and you could tell this was something he wanted to do for so long. Fucking this movie. Jesus Christ.
Nice.
This movie had moments. Again, they worked so well.
Yeah,
this was one of them.
But it eventually gets resolved by the one of the security guys saying like, "Okay, come on, my girlfriend's texting me. I gotta get the fuck out of here, everybody." And then the scene kind of just ends out of nowhere.
It really does.
We see Josh walking with Tiffany to her dorm room. They finally sit down and talk, and she immediately just really establishes she's ready to break up because long distance relationships don't work. And she's also been with somebody else because there were different area codes that didn't count. So she's on that.
But they're only 14. I'm assuming they went together when they were 14.
Yeah. But she was away at camp or something like that. So I assume that they were together since childhood. And
they were
dating
friends.
I think they were dating since middle school. They had said at some point. So their entire life. But
they must have been just started maybe
of
dating.
Course, yeah. But she says it was different area code, so it's fine. It was just kind of a gag, but also a callback and an okaying of him cheating on her in the beginning. If you're watching the movie, that's you're hung up on that. It's don't worry, she doesn't consider it cheating either, guys. It's a funny joke.
I appreciated that the callback though, because again, whether it's right or wrong, that's good writing.
Yeah, it's a funny little thing.
It really does. Callbacks, whether they're
it's a callback, it's a joke, and it also clears up any kind of morality for the main character feeling bad about it. It's a really, really good little throwaway gag line that does a lot.
Yes,
it's very cleverly done. But since they're politely breaking up with each other, he gets a call from Beth He's saying like, hey, I wanted to get in contact with you. I'm so sorry. But he's like, oh, I want to talk to you. I broke up with Tiffany. You know, we can be together now. It's going to be great.
Well, he doesn't really say all of that.
No,
so
no,
much,
no.
But Beth is,
He starts. And then, like, while he's saying that, Tiffany's gets the tape, puts it in a tape thing, and then starts playing it, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Which, and then, but, okay, you see Beth on the tape there for a second.
You see somebody in underwear walk over to the screen, and then it cuts away. So there's enough for something to bad to possibly have to her to get something from that, but then Tom Green shows up and he's just like, "Oh, look at me! I'm on a movie TV," and they're like fucking showing his bum as he always loves to do. Yeah, and she's like, "What the hell is this? Why did you send me this weird thing?" And then he's
apparently they decided to put the some of the promos for the original Tom Green show.
He was filming some show. She's calling himself Tom Green. I don't know.
So I will say this. Okay, so like. Yeah, I was annoyed that she didn't see or acknowledge the clearly
something was
feminine
happening.
person
something was happening
on the camera in a position, a sex, whatever. But honestly, they cut away from Tom Green in this video way too quickly.
Yeah,
like it was his humor. Like, honestly, what they should have done is for like an hour and a half, just showing us a movie of him doing that kind of humor.
Yeah, that would have been funny
maybe,
too.
I think, give it a kind of a plot, like maybe he wants to be like a cartoonist.
Yeah,
maybe starring Rip Torn.
Rip Torn could be his dad. That'd be great. Yeah.
I think he could be friends with Harlan Williams or something. He'd have a crippled girlfriend and all that. Maybe have a scene with some kind of fancy restaurant.
Yeah, fancy restaurant.
So I'm just spitballing
where
here.
A scuba diver at some point,
I mean, that would have just been like the perfect film if they had done that. That's what the film.
Something that clever.
Hour and a half should have been with Tom Green on that. Dressed as an English Bobby.
Yeah, in the Middle East, sewing tennis balls, sewing soccer balls.
Yes, elephant jizz. You gotta throw some random shit in there.
Yeah.
I don't think you kill the kid at the end. They have a gag where the kid keeps getting hurt, but I think I get like end point is something crazy happens, but I think it needs to be okay.
Of course.
Because the Snatchers would not be cool with that.
But yeah.
And don't forget the vague American love at the very end there.
Yeah. Also, I forgot.
It would make, what? I guarantee you that would make his daddy proud.
Yeah, proud.
Proud?
Proud.
Get the fuck out of the way!
Oh, so fucking good.
That's called a joke!
Yeah, exactly.
Boom!
While Beth is talking to him, she also mentioned that, you don't have an extension on the paper. Bye.
Yeah.
And so now they're on the bus back, and he says, man, I'm gonna flunk this test. There's no way I can learn philosophy, I guess, or was it ethics? Is that what the class is?
Didn't they teach something about like
they say ethics or philosophy, and then
I thought they taught it was like one was the Civil War of 1812 fought in like Gettysburg or some bullshit.
But it also says like Aristotle was like the founder of ethics and philosophy, and I'm like, what the fuck class is this?
I thought they.
But then Stoner dude teaches them. He's like, I can teach you it. So think of Socrates or whatever as the Vince McMahon. I'm like, we've never seen him interested in wrestling at all at any point in this movie so far, and he got his ass kicked by a wrestler in official wrestling.
This tutor scene felt weird.
It was just a quick resolution for him to be able to possibly do this test. They finally get back to the college somehow, and like easy no shenanigans trip back to the college in a second.
Right? Like they teleport back.
Yeah, they pretty much teleport back.
Think about it for a second. Like, him being able to tutor should have felt like I feel like that should have been his plot line. Him some stoner guy,
or like him being exclusively smart and like
trying to help
either
others.
Main guy or Sean William Scott being a stoner instead of that would have been like more of a sane thing. Him being like the worried person, him being smart, or DJ Qualls being smart at the end would have been helpful.
Yeah,
just an asshole or a weird goof.
But like Ruben being like some kind of guy who's like trying to become like a teacher, and maybe like he was failing trying to connect with people. Or he's a scientist
or something. Like the bit with the physics and the jumping the thing. Like if he did that more often, it would have been made. Then a couple of weed gags with him.
Then there should have been like the talking honestly too. Even if he had a slight weed gag because he enjoyed it. Like the grandfather's been like, you gotta relate, and then that feeds back into you gotta relate to the subject and find a way to make them relate to it.
Yeah.
We're writing the movie better for you, dudes. Come
That's
on.
from 2000.
Yeah.
Year 2000, 25 years ago.
Who was it? Todd Phillips?
I know he directed. I don't know if he wrote it, but
Who wrote it?
I don't know.
There's
no way to figure it out.
We need to invite him, and we have to do it by name.
Yeah.
So we're gonna spend the time and riff while we look up.
Great. I'm glad you're doing
the
that.
Road Trip writer.
Yeah, the Road Trip writer, of course, as we know, the man who wrote this movie, or man or woman who wrote this movie, probably a dude because this movie's so broy.
Definitely a broy film. Let's see.
But yeah, they get back to the school.
It was written by Todd Phillips and Scott Armstrong.
Nice.
So, hey, Scott Armstrong and I guess Todd Phillips, but Scott Armstrong especially because we haven't said anything about him potentially. But I guess, you know what, Todd Phillips, maybe, sure. Yeah, listen, Todd Phillips and Scott Armstrong the 2000 from back in the 2000s when you wrote this, get a hold of us and we'll help you write a better character for Ruben.
I'm curious if they work together on the other stuff that they've done. But yeah, they get back to the college and someone has called in a bomb threat because he sees a bunch of people in like white outfits looking for a bomb in the classroom, and then they let the teacher announce, "No, there's no bombs found. Everybody will resume the test tomorrow or whatever."
Pre 9/11, clearly,
yeah, of course, yeah.
A bomb threat got called in,
and they're like, "No, go back into school. Class isn't canceled. Everybody, keep going."
Right, just delayed. Which, again, she committed a felony.
Yeah, it's insane.
For some penis.
Yeah, it's revealed that Beth called in a bomb threat to help him take the test, and that's the resolution of that.
Also, what's crazy is like, maybe I just don't remember those years, but I feel like that was not something that would happen all the time. You know?
Bomb threats?
Yeah.
I think facetiously they would, and it was like a movie thing. It was like a gag and like action movie. So it was before. It wasn't like a real life threat. Also, no, I think there was some like the World Trade Center bombing and stuff had happened already, and like
that's right, there was a bomb.
The guy with the glasses, the fucking
Unabomber.
Unabomber and stuff like that. That's happened, but
Oklahoma City too, right?
Oh, yeah, I think that may have been just those.
But those were actual events.
Those were, but also like conceptually, it was still like a joke, gag-worthy thing, and calling in bomb threats was like a new idea to like get things shut down because it was a threat first being taken seriously. Yeah.
So definitely, I mean, it's crazy how nowadays that's just like happens and all the time because of fucking stochastic terrorists. Like
sarcastic terrorists.
Stochastic terrorism is when you say, "Hey, look at that bad person over there doing terrible things." It's a shame how, you know, someone so terrible can freely do terrible things, and people then, you know, they didn't say do something terrible to them, but they said that person is a terrible person who deserves terrible things. Basically, it's the implication of saying it without saying it.
Of course. Josh passes the test. We find out later as the tour ends, and he says everybody else's thing. Back with Tom Green on the tour.
Oh no, you forgot the best a great editing moment.
Yeah.
Where Josh, you know, he's like, I aced the test, and then he's, you know, talking with Beth, and they start kissing, and it starts spinning.
Yeah.
And it hard cuts to Tom Green kissing the mom.
That was amazing.
Perfection of editing. That is the Freddy got fingered of editing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a weird statement to say out of context.
We find out that DJ Qualls is still dating, what's her name, Rhonda?
Yes.
And he brings her to meet the dad, and the dad's being awkward about it because Fred Ward's, you know, being a goofy weirdo who's probably racist. They're gonna be happy together though. That's good.
Again, yes, I need to see that.
Yeah,
sitcom.
We see Ruben invents a new super strong form of weed that can't be detected by drug tests, which is insane.
That was just a throwaway to me.
Of course, just a little gag. And then Sean William Scott's dating somebody who's pre-med, and she's fucking milking his prostate every day, and it's great.
Again, I appreciate it. Again, that's where I appreciated the growth.
And however much time has passed, Tom Green is still at the college.
You forgot to mention the most
the funniest thing,
So Jacob ends up joining an Iowa cult.
Yeah.
And they all, you know, are gonna drink the poison, but he does it first.
Yeah, and then they'll change their mind.
Like, yeah, so it's just him.
That's probably one of the funniest gags in this movie. That's my cream of the crop.
That was a great moment.
Very, very funny.
That was, man, we do that, don't we?
Like, no, barely any other comeuppance has come to that character, and he's been so annoying the whole movie. It's a very stupid way to do it. It's just like, it's very, very goofy.
That's a good moment.
Yeah. But yeah, the movie was all, and then Tom Green's like saying, like, he sends everybody off there. Everyone has newfound respect for Ithaca College because of his insane story. I think they even asked him, like, did any of that actually happen? And he's like, oh, absolutely, yeah. And then he talks about everyone's futures, and then everyone's like walking off and congratulating him, and then the mom, who's been like with the whole movie, he's just like, I just wanted to thank you for giving us a tour. He's like, oh, what did he say to her? He's like something like repeatedly over and over again to her.
I don't remember what
he's
it was.
He's like, oh, you're welcome, or thank you. And he's like, making out with her, and then slowly they fall to the ground, and he's just like humping her. But like the entirety of the credit sequence is him humping her.
Like, it's not even like a hop, it's like a twitch.
yeah, he's literally like, he's like, oh, I think he's like actually coming just in his pants with his fully dressed. It's insane and hilarious ending. Tom Green just fucking sending the movie off on a fucking beautiful note. This movie was fucking amazingly funny. And like I said, I'm glad you told me it held up, and I'm glad it did hold up. Absolutely. It's fucking incredibly funny.
So I wrote this right after the end of the film. Mm-hmm. So I wrote, the film generally holds up, which we've of course said.
Yeah.
There's some minor and no moments. But like on the whole, it's a sweet film with like mostly sweet characters. Mm-hmm. And it's truly both made in the 2000s, but it feels modern. Like, it feels timeless.
Oh, of course.
It's the best way I used to put it. Like, I thought it would be... Oh, American Pie. Okay, I thought it would be more American Pie and Superbad cringe. Yeah. Where you watch it nowadays, you're like, ugh.
Problematic and, yeah.
Right, but, like, overall, like, I truly have a fun time with this film. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't, like... During the Superbad, when I rewatched Superbad recently, there were moments where I was like, oh, I can't. Because I get secondhand embarrassment watching film movies. And, like, this movie had its moments, but it did it in a enjoyable way, where even though there were some cringy moments, they never felt, like, painful. Yeah. Like, if it wasn't handled right, the black fraternity scene...
that could have been very bad easily. Or the auction. There's a million things that could have been really problematic that were honestly very well handled. Like, surprisingly well handled.
You watch that scene, and even too, like, I keep going on to it. The the prostate milking scene.
Yeah, some of these credits for potentially problematic gags or, like, jokes or whatever, but they were all handled very, very well. Yeah.
Yeah, you walk away, and even too, like, it's kind of almost sad that you see the setup and you think the worst of the joke, and the fact that it doesn't hit those negative connotations is good.
It's shocking. Like, that's part of that adds to the humor of the scene.
Yeah,
of them actually not going to the problematic route and still being funny.
It's a film that, again, you can enjoy this film as much in 2000 as you can today, and I guarantee you in 30 years from now we'll be able to do the same.
Hold up, it's very, very funny.
And you can't say that for every movie.
Yeah, we spent an hour at the beginning talking about how comedy is difficult, but also, like, it can be very badly done at any point.
But good comedy...
good comedy is possible, and this movie is definitely one of the better comedies, probably one of the better comedies that's from 2000.
I mean, there's only... off the top of my head, I can barely think of almost one movie that could do better.
Only one movie only this movie is, best comedy of the era, besides, of course, one that's legendarily, the best.
And this was, of course, the precursor to it.
Yeah, this movie literally walked, so the greatest movie of all time could run 1 year later. Yes,
exactly.
Of course. Freddy got fingered.
the greatest movie.
The greatest movie of all time. Freddy got fingered.
Which eventually we're gonna have to trick all of our friends who we've called out so many people. Yeah. But hey, all of our friends. I know you're not listening right now. It's okay.
Yeah, this far into this 3-hour podcast.
Don't stop listening so we can talk about this. Yeah. We're going to have to trick all of our friends to come to a party.
And they'll only know if they listen to 3 hours of us talking about a road trip.
Let's be honest.
Will they enter our magical realm?
We will get them all. We will bribe them. We will put it on. And we will hit record the second the movie is
Yeah.
over, and we will listen to just
Yeah.
5 hours of people praising
Yeah,
Freddy
like-
Got Fingered.
Like legitimately,
Cry. There will
it
be
is
tears.
shocking. Yeah, it is like just like this movie though. Like so completely unironically, it is amazing how unproblematic Freddy Got Fingered is, and also still incredibly humorous along with this movie. People, don't give people don't give the 2000s. Yeah,
The tears, the raw emotions.
the raw emotions, the freaking the spritzer machine in the fancy restaurant. It's all there.
Gordy!
Got a little jobby. I'm going to get they're jewels, Betty. They're jewels. But yeah.
Hey,
Oh, wig, wag, wag. Even that, not problematic, just funny. Like, literally, it's just funny because it's insane. But yeah, okay, now ready to rank this bad boy?
Are you gonna go first since it's my movie?
Yeah, you can go first, either from the top or from the bottom, either way your choice.
All right. See where I put some of these.
I remember where I put this one, yeah.
Ooh. So I'm gonna go backwards
Okay.
because spoiler alert, this is near the top.
Of course.
So of course, number 6. Remember 16. Now still Transformers: Age of Extinction.
I disagree, but okay.
Number 15 is the Justice League.
I also disagree, but okay.
Number 14 is The Last Airbender, which I think of course you could agree on that one.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Close to our mind is, yeah.
Number 13 is Resident Evil 2. Number 12 is X-Men Apocalypse.
I disagree on that, but okay.
Oh, that's right, I jumped it. Oh, fuck, I don't even know how I'm going to do this now. Oh, fuck. I gotta undo some number changes here, because, yeah, I'm going to fuck up my whole list. Because originally I had Fantasy Island at number 10, but I jumped it to 7, it looks like.
Nice.
So, number 9, so
What
that
the fuck
was
is 11?
11. So original 11 was X-Men.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go up the list, and I'll tell you where I would slot this in because I'm going backwards. So normally Transformers 15. Fuck, where did it go? Justice League 14. 13 is Airbender. 12 Resident Evil. 11 X-Men. Originally 10 was Fantasy Island, but that has jumped up to 7. So again, my rankings are all fucked up. So 9.5 was Terror of Tiny Town.
Insane.
Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief was number 9.
Okay.
Number 8, about in the middle, was Banana Splits. Number 7 originally was Troll 2. I think that's where I think Fantasy Island just beat out Troll 2 because it was enjoyable and it had more enjoyableness, but Troll 2 with friends can be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Number 6 was Bad Taste, which I know you don't agree with.
Nope.
Number 5 was Star Wars 3. Number 4 was Warcraft. So we're in our top 3 now. All right, number 3, Freddy versus Jason. Formerly number 2, Willy's Wonderland.
Really?
Beat out now by the soon-to-be number 2, Road Trip.
That's a little much for me, but okay.
I love Willy's Wonderland, and it's a fantastic film. But I think what it is this film, the fact that we can watch it now, 24 years after it was released, and it feels like it could be made today, says something about the film and the quality of this film. And I think that deserves to be called out and given praise. Also, a reason to give it a number 2 ranking is because, again, as you said, this film walked so the true and forever number 1 film,
Of course.
Freddy Got Fingered, could run.
Of course.
This film is responsible for Freddy Got Fingered
directly.
Yeah. So, I mean, can you give it anything less?
It's pretty fucking fantastic. Freddy Got Fingered is. Yeah. All right. So for my rankings, I'll go from top this time since we always switch up. Number 1, Freddy Got Fingered, perfect film, best thing ever created by man.
Yes.
Number 2, Willy's Wonderland, fucking incredible, fun action horror movie. Number 3, Freddy Got Jason. Freddy Got Jason.
The Tom Green horror film we all need.
We all want.
Tom Green, hit us up.
Oh, yeah. Number 4, Star Wars Episode 3. Number 5, Warcraft. Number 6 is Road Trip.
Wow.
Yeah? Wait, it's in the top half. I very much love it. Like I said, I'm not a crazy fan of comedies in general. I said this movie was much, much better than I could have possibly imagined. My list is mostly based on like what I would like watching, and I like my dumb action movies more than anything else I'm playing. That's why most of my stuff is like still high ranked for my list. But yeah, Road Trip was a fucking fantastic movie. There's nothing, I have no issues with it. There's no like irony to it. It's just like personally, like I said, I don't mind. I don't like rewatching comedies personally. Yeah, I'll take a horror. I'll watch a horror or a horror movie, good or bad. Action, sci-fi action movie, good or bad. And I'll rewatch those on my own time all the time. Just personally, it's personal enjoyment wise. But yeah, 6 is in the top half, and I very much enjoy it. Number 7, X-Men Apocalypse, which I said I like because it's dumb and bad. Justice League Snyder Cut because I like it, and it's still lower. It's exactly halfway to the list. Speaking of which, number 9. Transformers Age of Extinction, all exactly halfway. Troll 2 and Fantasy Island permanently tied in my mind because they're equally one, boring with friends or like a mediocre but interesting thriller.
It's funny then that I now tied Fantasy Island and Troll 2.
Yeah, of course. They've been like permanently just mixed in my mind since we first started the podcast. Percy Jackson Lightning Thief is number 11. I'm probably going to lower that eventually. Honestly, just over time, I'm like thinking about watching the new show. I'm probably going to lower that down.
It's one of those films that
it was like generically not good, and then you see what it could have been, and you're like, okay, no, that was a real travesty.
It's funny though that we both have it ranked around the same. I got it now 10. You got it 11.
Yeah.
But we have different things about front and behind it.
Yeah, it's very well. I listen like literally reversed around that practically. Number 12 is Banana Splits: The Hug. Now after Banana Splits, which is like just a movie like that's a movie that's like in my mind that's a straight up just like meh, 5 out of 10, whatever, no real feelings at all about it. Not that it was bad, but I would never personally rewatch it. I'm not too enthusiastic about it just conceptually. And now everything after this I hate. Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse is fucking terrible. That was another like year-long hiatus episode we did. Fucking shitty-ass movie.
How come both of our hiatus movies, not only were your films, but were both pretty rough?
Which was the other one?
Transformers.
Oh, Transformers is great. I never said that. Terror of Tiny Town is number 14. That fucking thing sucked. It was practically less than an hour, but like I say a million times, it felt longer than the 3-hour X-Men movie we watched afterwards. Number 15, Bad Taste. Just thinking about all those ugly New Zealanders.
It gives you a bad taste in your mouth?
Yeah, I gotta make that fucking Jesus Christ.
Derek!
Derek's don't run. Finally, number 16, the movie that personally offended me on multiple levels, The fucking Last Airbender. Fucking terrible. Oh, speaking of which, did you see, see the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Watchers? It's bad.
What kind of, is it like?
Well, if I told you that the setup is like these 4 people in a weird glass box in an Irish forest, and something is watching them in the fucking woods or whatever the fuck, like, could you guess what the fucking thing or being or whatever the hell is? A forest, something's keeping these people in a weird glass box. It's called The Watchers.
Aliens?
No, that'd be too fucking dumb for even him. Even though he's done Aliens before. It's a bad movie. Don't go watch it. It's a waste of time. But just to keep things random before we finish up, his other movie. Did you see the setup for the other movie with Josh Hartnett and his daughter?
Which film?
The other M. Night Shyamalan movie coming out in like a month or so.
What was it called?
It's called Trap, I think. I'm going to tell you the setup for it because I saw the trailer for this and I'm like, okay, this shit looks fucking incredible. Josh Hartnett is a fun, goofy dad. He's taking his daughter to some kind of like Taylor Swift round of like big giant concert for someone named Lady Raven. It's like, oh, hey, it's a crazy big concert. He's like, being goofy dad, having fun with his daughter. And then he's like all this extra security around the concert. He's like, what the hell's going on with this concert? He goes to one of the like vendors and he's like, hey, what's going on? Why is extra security? There's a bunch of cops everywhere. And he says, oh, you hear about that crazy serial killer, the butcher? He's chopping people up and killing everybody. This whole concert's a setup to try to capture him. He's like, oh my God, that's insane. Josh Hartnett goes to the bathroom, looks at his phone. He has a man in his basement. He's like, I'm the killer. I'm here with my daughter, but I'm actually a serial killer. And it's like him trying to escape this concert with his daughter. You know, he's a crazy like murderer, and it's a fucking. It looks legit awesome as hell. I'm probably gonna do it for the show. If we can do like another like current episode, I would love to do that movie. It looks insane. I hope it's terrible.
That sounds interesting.
It is. Look, watching the trailer, when you like finally get the reveal of him like going to the bathroom, and being like, "I'm evil." It's just like it's so goddamn funny. I'm like, I want to see this movie so bad. But yeah, this movie was a very, very enjoyable. Like I said, my list is mostly based on personal excitement and enjoyment and rewatchability, which is a major thing for me because I don't rewatch anything. I rarely ever do that. But that's why it's like it seems like middle. But like I said, for a comedy like this, that's like a lot of praise for me personally. As fucked up and weird as my list is, it's all personal taste.
See, I think the reason
it's not a quality thing. But
I know the reason I put it higher, like Freddie got Jason.
Freddie.
Yeah, but that's it too. Freddie versus Jason, like it's a fantastic film.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
significantly more problematic, and like quality is definitely worse.
The writing, ironically too, the writing kind of brings it down a little bit here and there. Warcraft, again, the problem is the humans in it.
Humans are bad
hold
and
it
boring.
back. It literally only gets its higher rating because the orc stuff is so fucking good. And like I said, I just the fact that I can look at this film today and I feel like I just enjoy the fuck out of it without, again, there was no moment where
it was fantastic.
Even as like gross as the French toast scene is, I did not like there are multiple times where there are comedies current day and rewatching now from way back when that I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm cringing too hard.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that, but I don't at this film.
Yeah, I'm gonna it's probably gonna move up my list as time goes on because like I said, I don't have a single issue with this movie, and I thought it was very fun and funny. So it's probably gonna move up my list eventually. But Freddie Got Fingered. I already said my cream of the crop, bottom of the barrel. I don't think there's anything ironic because the movie's pretty fucking great all around. I don't know if there's anything ironic. Oh, I guess the toe sucking scene was very funny, but I guess it was supposed to be funny. And it didn't endear me to Beth at all, even though it was supposed to. It was a very funny scene. But yeah, do you have any cream of the crop, bottom of the barrel, air freshener? Or no?
There's so many good moments.
There are. It's fun all around.
Honestly, the kind of some of them are back to back. To me, the cream of the crop, I think, is the Kyle Rhonda scene with them in bed. Because it was, unlike, there's a lot of moments that I enjoy from this film, but that one to me, just overall, the charm of this relationship suddenly forming. And the fact, too, like, it didn't even need much setup, but, like, the fact that when he was dancing, she saw him and was like...
She asked about him, too. Like,
right, she asked about him and how cute he was, and it was like one of those genuine attractions, and then it goes through this nice conversation.
They literally had technically what you say it's 2 or 3 scenes, but that was like a great little fun romance story that was really more endearing than anything else in the movie.
It really was such a good scene where they just you saw in such a short time you conveyed that they had a genuine immediate attraction to each other. They got a chance to build onto that, and then they got a chance to explore it in a way that was just so... for a sex scene, it was done so well.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was so good. I'd say that that was the...
Cream of the crop?
Cream of the crop. Bottom of the barrel is the scene I hated the most. Ironically, it kind of a smorgasbord of anything 2000s that wasn't a reference to the era. Again,
the
I think
weed dog scene was not funny.
I didn't hate
it, but it was just whatever.
I didn't like the bench joke.
Yeah, the bench joke. That was my bottom of the barrel. The bench joke was,
And there was another point in here that I remember not. That was really the real bottom of the barrel for me.
Of course. Yeah.
Which ironically, again, it says something that even though that's the bottom of the barrel, the content of the scene outside of that was really good, I think.
Yeah.
And everything. And then I guess the air freshener would be the prostate milking scene.
Oh yeah, you gotta
because again, it just
express off to you like endeared you more to Sean Scott's character. Yeah,
I mean it was just such a good it was a moment where, again, the joke was for the
you
2000s.
were set up for something bad, but it was actually a very
right.
fun scene that made you like.
I expected cringe, and then I not only didn't get cringe, I got character growth.
Yeah.
From a guy who was Stifler. Yeah. I mean, that was Stifler not being a piece of garbage to people.
Yeah.
You know, that was the equivalent to Jonah Hill and Michael Cera at the end, you know, saying I love you to each other. Yes, they were drunk, you know, but them expressing their emotions like that, it was a moment where the characters felt you did not expect it, and it just worked. Yeah. That was a moment to me that I worked.
Yeah.
But not for the reason they meant for it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why it's ironic. Yeah, it's fucking great. All right, so plugs.
I guess I'll go first this time. So you can still find me on Twitch at father_bohawk. That's the actual underscore icon, not the word underscore. Where I do Pokemon Hardcore Nuzlocke. At the very moment as we record this, I have taken a small break from White 2 Kaizo, despite a year and a half of playing it, and 69 failed previous attempts.
Nice.
I am playing, which I just learned, I don't know how I never knew how you fully pronounced it, Sasiata, not Saucy ATTA. Sasiata, he makes incredible ROM hacks, which you can find in his Discord. If you look at his videos, Sasiata. But he released a game called Mythical Silver, which is a whole reworking of Heart Gold, adds in megas, all legendaries, mythicals, and those are what you use in this game that is built with hard level caps. It's just absolutely great. I'm only on my second run, but I'm already getting about to take my second badge. So it's a lot of fun. I'm doing that right now as a little breather in between before I go back into the all triples hellscape that is White 2 Kaizo.
Nice.
So, other than that, I really don't do much else as I stream.
All right, cool.
So,
all right, mine, Matthew Lewis Podcast. Oh, you have a Twitter account?
I have one. I don't.
Yeah, we discussed last time. I barely use Twitter.
I don't use X anymore.
Yeah, I don't use Twitter. I'm only on Reddit, but it is still Matthew Lewis Podcast on Twitter.
I had to get rid of my Twitter app because I just
it sucks. It really, really sucks.
If I want to read terrible news, I'll just go to Facebook and look at the comments on certain things.
Yeah, talk about embarrassing and cringe.
Do better, Mark Zuckerberg.
Do better,
Elon
everybody.
Musk, I know you're a piece of garbage.
Yeah, everyone
Fuck
do
you.
better. It's bad.
Fuck you, Elon Musk. That's how you alienate somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not invited on the podcast.
Yeah, never.
Matthew Lewis Podcast on Twitter. I barely check it, like I said. Matthew Lewis Podcast, Patreon, Matthew Lewis Podcast, YouTube, Matthew Lewis Podcast, Twitch, Matthew Lewis Podcast, to email stuff to fucking congratulate me on how great the show is. Review my book, The Forgotten Minotaur King. Check out the actual audio drama, The Forgotten Minotaur King. Also, old episodes of this podcast you're listening to, Movie Garbage and Action Toon Bros, my TV show podcast, which have been running for both of these running for years. Check them both out. Yeah, that's all me. And now it's time for next movie on the list. Now, yeah, I'm thinking, what should I pick? A classic Matthew, shitty CGI-filled action movie. And, usually, if you know me personally, Matthew, if you think I'm going to zig, I am going to zig, because I think that would be funny. But what we're doing this time is we are going to, I've been thinking to myself, this show's fantastic. But you know what? We have not had any real stupid anime bullshit yet. Some real goofy-ass nonsense that makes no sense. And so I said, you know what, also, why do one movie when we can do 4 OVAs that were badly mashed up into one movie of a franchise that I've loved for years. And next movie we are doing is Digimon the movie. Okay, yeah. So we are covering the Digimon, also 2000. We're staying in that year. We're staying 24 years in the past. But yeah, a thing that was thrown together because Fox wanted a Pokemon movie, but Digimon only had several unrelated OVAs that they decided to mash into one film.
Did not expect that as your
Hell
choice.
yeah. We needed some anime nonsense, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen that movie in years. It's also not available anywhere, so you're probably going to have to try to find some kind of link online to watch it because it is not available anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it is not available anywhere to watch.
I saw that in the theaters.
Me too. I had this. Everyone had the soundtrack, the mind-blowingly fun soundtrack.
I am pretty sure that I have the movie card.
You probably have something down. You probably have it downstairs in your collection somewhere.
Somewhere I have.
Yeah, it is. It's
the
not streaming. It's not
was it
sold.
Not Gabuterimon. What was the one with the minigun for his hand?
That's what, the Gargomon?
It was the dude, like the floppy eared dude with
Yeah,
the
Gargomon.
minigun.
Yeah, Gargomon.
Yeah, they gave out the card at the theater, and I'm pretty sure that card is in my basement right now.
Nice. Yeah.
I have not thought about that film.
Absolutely. A movie that, like I said, is not
You're
available
throwing
for distribution anywhere.
You're the one throwing out the weird,
Yeah, I know.
obscure stuff
Exactly.
tonight.
Hell yeah. I fucking love Digimon, but we'll cover...
Does that mean I have to do a crazy like franchise connection movie next time?
Yeah, of course we have to flip the script on each other. But yeah, fucking Digimon the movie. I have a link to like a weird like Internet Archive fucking stream link for it. Try to find it with the Angela Anaconda bit at the beginning. There's a fucking amazingly funny story about that.
Jesus fucking Christ! How do you? Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah, well,
What the fuck?
there is a incredibly funny internet story regarding that, but we will cover that on the actual episode. Now we're cutting into fucking 3 hours and 18 minutes before I do any editing on this bad boy. So yeah, quote unquote. So yeah, we will send you guys off and pick up, like I said, try to find that movie somewhere, listeners. It's very funny. Roadtrip is fucking fantastic. Holds up. Go watch it.
Yeah, watch this film and then watch Freddy Got Fingered afterwards.
Yeah, watch Freddy Got Fingered.
And watch it before you watch this.
And you know what? Just for the hell of it, after you do that, watch it again.
Yep.
And make sure you buy it every time on different computers and different people's accounts.
Exactly.
we have to fund Tom Green to do another one.
Listen, he's never gonna notice if we don't start making him money.
Absolutely.
Not that he's like some kind of vain guy, but
He needs to notice us, but that's what
people gotta pay the bills.
Gotta pay the bills.
Gotta pay the bills.
All right, so we will see you guys next time. What the fuck do we say on this podcast?
Oof.
Oof.
Confused Gambit.
Move.
I got it in.